And I'm going to be your host for day 2 of the VIP Ignite Model Actor Bootcamp. I am so excited to be here today. In case you can't tell, I am so excited. We had an amazing day 1. Yesterday, we laid the foundation. Today is day 2. Today is Transformation Day. You know what? I may even rename day 2 to Action Day. Everyone type action in the comments. If you are here because you want to take action on your future, because you want to take action and become your future self right now, type action in the comments. So some of you are like on Facebook or YouTube and like, what's going on here? Who is this person who's yelling at me? This is what I want you to do. I want you to come join us here on Zoom because today we have an agent who is on looking for new models. He's looking for new actors. He's going to be on later today. And if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, long story short, you're not going to be seen. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to come over here and join us live on Zoom. How are you going to do that? You're going to go to VIPigniteSummit.com. Again, you're going to go to VIPigniteSummit.com and you're going to come join us here on Zoom. So allow me to introduce myself to everyone. My name is Deneen White. I'm the publicist for VIP Ignite. I host all of our live and virtual events. Hi, welcome to my virtual event here today. I also host the podcast for VIP Ignite Live. I host another podcast called Coffee in the Green Room. In addition to that, I'm the president of Talent Services for Truth Management, which is our mother agency. I love what I do, and I bring the energy to every place I go. Do you want to know why? Because I get to help actors, models, and musicians create their own success by giving you the tools, resources, and connections that you need. If you're in the Zoom room right now, or if you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube, comment. How many of you can use some more connections in the industry? Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. How many of you can use some more tools? How many of you know that you need to take action in order to get everything that you want? Being here is really cool, but you know what? There's so much more that we have so much more to offer you than being here just on the Zoom call, okay? Today, what we're going to do is today is action day. So yesterday we laid the foundation. We gave you some foundational information that you need about the entertainment industry. We talked about, oh my gosh, what did we talk about yesterday? People on the call, just kidding. Yeah, it's like what? How, Deneen? So yesterday we talked about everything that you need in order to become successful. Okay, we had an agent come on talking about the first 30 days for his working the first 30 days in a agency. We had a casting director come on who laid out the whole casting process and exactly what casting directors are looking for. Okay, so if you were on here yesterday when Cynthia was speaking, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about the casting director? Like, what is the one thing you were like, wow, you know what? I never would have guessed that going into an audition. Type that in the comments. I want to know. For me, the overarching theme for everyone yesterday was authenticity. The word authenticity. The reason that agents, that managers, the casting directors want to work with you is because they want to see your authentic self. So many times people are like, oh my God, I want to be the next Denzel Washington. I want to be the next Julia Roberts. I want to be the next. You know what? I don't want you to be the next anything. I want you to be the first you. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the first you. They're looking for the first Sarah. They're looking for the first Solange. They're looking for the first Kingston. They're looking for the first Reginald. They're looking for the first Danielle. They're looking for the first Darrell. They're looking for the first Chris. They're looking for the first Bonnie, John, Carol. They're looking for the first you. Whether it's an agent or a casting director, they're looking for someone who can do the job, but who's authentic, who's great to be around. How many of you have ever had a job where you're like, I have to talk to that person again? Like, don't be that person. Don't be that person. Be the person that people are like, yes, I cannot wait to be in a room with that person. Because you know what that's going to do? That's going to book you more opportunities. How do you do that? You show up in your authentic self, right? Not only do you show up in your authentic self, you show up. Thank you. We know Reginald's going to show up on time because he told us that's his secret sauce. You have to employ patience. Lewis, perfect. That's amazing. You have to employ patience because there are going to be times you're going to be on set and you're going to be, hurry up and get there. And then you're going to be waiting. Totally cool. But you have to be authentic. You have to show up. You have to be there. You have to be prepared too. Oh my gosh. Lewis. Okay, Lewis, God bless you. Like every day I pray for you. Like whenever I get on an airplane and I'm like, just for those of you that don't know, Lewis is a flight attendant, and holy mackerel, like the energy on planes, some days it's like and some days it's like, I don't know how the flight attendants aren't kicking everyone off. But you know what? It's just like that on set too, right? We can apply this to set. I'm sure that there are certain days where they have a cast of extras and they're like, yeah, these people are awesome. But then you get that crew and you're like, I need this job, Lord. Please let me keep it. Right? I've had those days too. But what I want you to understand is you be authentically yourself. That was the theme of yesterday. That was the theme of yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about what type of modeling you qualify for. How many of you know what type of modeling you qualify for? If you don't, you're going to by the end of the day. Ryan Colby went over to do that. Okay. Ryan Colby went over that with you yesterday. He went over the different types of modeling. Okay. So we're going to talk about what type of modeling you qualify for. We're also going to talk about what type of mindset you have to have here in life, not just in the entertainment industry, but in life in general. Everyone thinks, oh my God, I need to know how to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to lay out a secret for you. And we're going to lay this out a lot deeper in a couple minutes. Success in life is 80% mindset and 20% tools and tactics. Type that in the comments. 80% mindset, 20% tools and tactics. If you believe you can do it, you are right. If you think you can't, you are also correct. So why not walk in to every room saying, you know what, I can do this. Why not walk into every situation in your life? You know what, I'm going to learn. No matter what the outcome of this is, I'm going to have a growth mindset. I'm going to learn. We're going to talk about that. Okay. I want you to remember that. Your success starts right here. Your success starts right here. What type of mindset do you have? We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about an opportunity for you to come out and take action. Everyone, again, type action in the comments. You're going to see a recurring theme. Take action. The only reason that you're not going to be successful is because you don't try. I'm going to say that again. The only reason you're not going to be successful is that you don't try. How many of you have ever said, you know what? Today, I'm going to take up knitting. Just go with it. I was watching a video this morning and someone was knitting. I don't know why. I'm going to take up knitting. Okay. Now imagine this. You go out to the store, you buy the needles, you buy the yarn, you buy the pattern, you watch the YouTube video, you do all those things, and then you just put all the stuff to the side and you go on about your life. Are you ever going to be successful at knitting by doing that? Yes or no in the comments. No, you're not. Same thing here, okay? We're giving you all this information, right? Yesterday, you met with one of the biggest casting directors in the United States. I mean, she used to be just Atlanta, but now the whole country. You had the opportunity to hear from one of the biggest agents in the United States, books people throughout the world. You had the opportunity to hear from Raquel, who like literally gave you the step by step and how to book reality TV, but not only reality TV, but we talked how you can apply that to your life. What are you doing with that information? Is it like those knitting needles just sitting in the bag? Hi, knitting. Oh, one day I'm going to do that. Or are you going to take action? Because we're looking for action takers. We're looking for winners. We're looking for people that are willing to do what it takes to make this happen. If that sounds like you, type me in the comments. I'm also going to lay something else out for you today. And I know I did this yesterday, but if you're here today, you deserve it twice. We're here to elevate your success. What does that mean? That means if we're here to elevate something, that means you already have it, right? You can't elevate something you don't have. We're here to elevate your success. So in the comments, I want you to write this. I am successful. I am successful. And I want you to keep telling yourself this. This goes back to the mindset. I am successful. Okay? Because you have to believe it, but you have to know it. Belief is like it kind of is fleeting. Oh yeah, I believe I can do this, but I know. Okay. How many of you know you can walk? Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. I know I can walk. How many of you believe you can fly? Let's not test that out today, unless you get on a plane with Lewis, right? I know I can. So you have to know that you're successful. You have to believe that, because you know what? The more that you know that, the more success you're going to have in life. We're going to talk about that with the Millionaire Mindset in a couple minutes. You have to know that. And I want you guys, that if you take one thing away from this weekend, understand that you have to take action. You have to have a good mindset, because otherwise it's just like those knitting needles sitting in the corner. I don't want that for you. Do you want that for you? How many of you have DIY projects that like right now you're having guilty conscience a little bit? You're like, yeah, I should have done that. We're not doing coulda, shoulda, woulda. We are. Okay. That's what this weekend is about. That's what day 2 is about. That's what transformation day is about. That's what action day is about. Okay. Awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to share some stories with you. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share some stories, some success stories with you. Is it okay if I share some stories of some people that we work with that are doing some really amazing things in the world? If that's okay, type yes in the comments. Let me know that I have your permission to do that. Awesome. All right. So let me get the slideshow set up. Oh, hold on. First things you have to share. It's my favorite joke time. It's Denise's first time on Zoom o'clock. All right, here we go. Alicia's like, well, I don't know what she drank this morning, but I haven't even had caffeine, Alicia. So, okay, here we go. All right, so you guys can see my screen, right? Someone give me a thumbs up. Okay, amazing. All right, so let's share this. All right, so this is what I want each and every one of you to understand right from the start. Every one of our success stories started on Zoom. Type on Zoom in the comments. Every one of our success stories started on Zoom. Okay. I'm going to tell you about one of our talent, Candace Rayford. She actually just updated me the other day too. So with every one of our success stories, I can give you a ton of updates. When we first started working with Candace, she was pretty much, and she was in a bad spot, like financially, mentally, emotionally, like even in her living situation, she was like in a really bad spot. But she knew, like, if you get to meet her too, she's literally a savant. I think she could play like every instrument that's ever been created by man. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but she can play multiple instruments, okay? And she can play them all really well. Not only that, she can produce music. She can do a lot of amazing things, okay? She knew that she had that greatness inside of her, but she needed some help to bring it out, right? She was like a diamond in the rough. She needed some polishing, she needed some sharpening, she needed to be polished. So she first started out just doing some coaching with us, right? And like she would come and go, like she'd be all in, and then she would go missing for a little while, and then she'd come back, I'm back, come back, and then she'd go missing, and then she'd come back. And not too long ago, she reached out and she was like, okay, Janine, I'm ready to take this seriously. Thank God. Let's do this. You want to take this seriously? And she was like, yeah. She's like, you know what? I think it's like she came out to an event. She came out to Atlanta, our first Atlanta event. And it was really cool. You know what happened? She showed up just being herself, being her authentic self. And we had a casting director there, and she's like, you know what? I could book you all day long. Just said it in passing. I could book you all day long. She's like, oh, really? She just went about her day. And then she went back to her toward the end of the day, and she's like, hi, I don't know if you really meant this, but you said you could book me all day long. She's like, yeah, actually, you know what? I have an opportunity for you tomorrow. And she was like, what? And she called me freaking out. Remember this, Alicia? She called me freaking out. She said, Denise, I have a problem. I was like, oh my God, are your kids okay? What's going on? She's like, I have to get a COVID test because I have to be on set tomorrow. I was like, that's awesome. Yes. And she was like, but it's my photo shoot. I'm like, listen, I don't have very many rules in my life, but the one rule I do have in my life is that being on set trumps a photo shoot all day long. You go. And she's like, okay. And so it weren't wound up that like she actually was able to come have her photos done, but she just needed to be late because she had to go get the COVID test. She had the opportunity, because she showed up as her authentic self, to be on set with Jessica Biel. How many of you in the comments would love that opportunity? Right? It's because she showed up as her authentic self and she said yes. When the opportunity presented itself, she wasn't like, oh, let me think about it. She wasn't like, oh, I think maybe I'll do it. She was like, yes. Okay. Not only is that, I mean, she got signed by a major agency at her next event. Like the agents loved her because of her look. She lives in California. Like she has that secret sauce, right? I got this text message in January. Hey, Deneen, guess what? I'm going to be at Disney Studios. That's pretty common if you would love to wake up to a text message like that. Hey, I'm going to be at Disney Studios. Please send me those text messages all day long. I'll give you my phone number. Not only that, but a couple months ago, Mike did a presentation on how to book work. Like there are so many different ways into the industry. Like everyone thinks you go in this door, you know what I mean? There are so many different ways. Mike did a presentation and she took it to heart. And literally now, not only is she booking TV and film, she's going to be in a really cool production I'm not allowed to tell you about. She signed an NDA and I kind of did by proxy as well. But you're going to see her on TV in a huge production, and probably in a couple months, within a year. She's like literally front and center in the shot. It's pretty, oh my gosh, so exciting. But yesterday, or 2 or 3 days ago, I got a text message. Not only is she now booking work, but her partner, Ian, is also getting cast with her because they're like, hey, we need a family. And she's like, hey. And she literally sent me a text. She was like, hey, babe, just so you know, we have an audition tomorrow. He's not interested in doing this, but he'll do anything for her. And he's like, oh, Lord. And the next thing you know, they're on set and she has 2 kids. I was like, can't just imagine what it's going to be like, not only to book you and Ian, but then when the kids start getting booked too. And she's like, she got so freaked out, she could barely text me back. But this is Candace. So this is first story I wanted to share with you guys. Is it okay that I'm excited about our success stories? Okay, here's another one, West Potts. So I guess all roads for whatever reason are tying to Atlanta today. So Wes actually grew up right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And when he first started working with us, he was a swimmer. Like that was his passion. Like he was a swimmer. His dad did not believe in him. Okay. To this day, I don't think that his dad fully believes in him. Like, so how many of you know what it's like not to have family support? Don't raise your hands, but if you know, just inside your head, go, yeah, I understand this. He made a decision, and I could take you to the exact spot where we were sitting. He said, Deneen, I just want you to know that I've made this decision. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that? Because for me, it wasn't a good decision. He was like, yeah, I do. I was like, okay, but if you need to talk about it, you let me know. And a couple of months later, I get this text message. Hey, just want to let you know, Deneen, I am moving to New York in October. I was like, that's awesome. Like, great. That's amazing. I love that. I'm so excited. Now he came to our New York event in December and we had, do you remember yesterday how Ryan talked about how there's one person he's been watching, they keep showing up, they're always attentive, they're like front and center. And he's like, yeah, I'm interested in that person. We had an agent who watched Wes go from like being this meek and mild boy to like starting to become a model, to building his confidence, to like really developing that secret sauce. Okay. She saw his acting go from here to here to here to here. And she could see now the growth, the potential, the work that he's putting, and the fact that when there's downtime, he's not knitting, he's not watching Netflix, he's like performing, he's doing all these things. He got signed by a major agency, SAG franchised agency in New York. A couple weeks later, paperwork signed for SAG. He's been submitted out for multiple huge projects, and not like as a background, but like as a featured person, as like in the forefront. So be on the lookout for Wes on the big screen soon. Mark my words, because you know what? You're going to see him. But when you hear the story, think about yourself. Are you doing the work in the background? Are you there? Are you showing up? Are you growing? Because you know what? Wes's story is amazing and it fires me up, but that could be you very easily. Wendy Fout, another one. We started earlier talking about how you don't have to quit your day job in order to do this, right? Wendy Fout is a nurse. She lives in San Diego. When she first started working with us, another one of our inner circle members too. When she first started working with us, I honestly, for the first like 3 or 4 weeks, I didn't know if she could speak and I could barely see her because what would happen is she'd get on calls but she'd be like hiding in a corner. It would be like this. I'm like, hey, you, can you get into the remember Alicia? Like that's literally what she does. Like, get in the middle, like, and then I didn't know she could talk. Finally, I was like, unmute yourself. I need to hear your voice. Can you talk? Right? She's a nurse. Like literally, she takes care of elderly people. She's the nurse that at the very end of your life, she's the one who comes in and she loves you through that process. She has a heart of gold. Okay. She knew what she wanted to do. She loves nursing though, and she's married. She has a family, but she knows she wants to do this. So by day, she's a nurse, but then in her off time, she writes, she produces, she acts in films. She does more independent films because that's kind of more in her area, that's more in her genre. But she has been a couple of the films that she's been a part of have been submitted to multiple film festivals. She's walked the red carpet. The director that works with her consistently calls on her. She's like literally his first phone call for any roles that he has. How many of you would love to be that person? Like, how many of you would love to be a part of a film, get submitted to a film festival? You're still maintaining your day job because you really love what you do, but you know what? You know what? This is really cool too. Like, how many of you want that to be you? That could be you. And Wendy Fout also, let me tell you something. You want to talk about gratitude? This and Wes, everyone I'm talking about today, all walk in gratitude. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Like I literally get update emails, text messages from Wendy, from Wes, from Candace all the time. And I'll start it out on a Zoom call just like you are. Kaylee Clay. She's getting married in like next week. Can you believe she's getting married next week? So when we first met her, talk about shy, introverted, insecure person. Okay. She wanted to be a model, but when she first got on the call with Alicia, her mom did all the talking, and her mom was like, Kim, Kaylee, do you want to do this, or is your mom forcing you to do this? Is pretty much what you had to say, right?
I actually told her mom, is this interview about you or Kaylee?
Yeah.
I was like, Kaylee, are you like blink twice if you want to do this?
Blink once if you're being held prisoner, blink twice if you really want to do this, right? But Kaylee, like when we met her, she was so insecure and she was so shy. She was so introverted that in her first photo shoot, she was hiding in a car with her hoodie on. And they were like, hey, it's time for you to come get your photos done. She's like, but now she's living full time in Los Angeles. She's getting married. She came to one of our events in Los Angeles and she met an agent, and she at that point she had her confidence up, right? She met the agent and he was like, "Hey, you need to drop like 10 to 15 pounds before I can work with you." She crumbled like a cookie. She was like a stale cookie. She's like, "Oh my God." Like she got so upset. She literally she hyperventilated. Like she was so upset. How could he say that? I'm already so skinny. Like freaked out. We didn't even, well, the only thing we knew, we called him the mean agent with the hat, right? Remember? Yeah, Alicia's laughing because she remembers. We called him the mean agent with the hat. How could he say such a thing, right? But you know what Kaylee did? She had two choices in that moment. She could have put her modeling dreams aside, like those knitting needles we talked about earlier, or she could like pull her stuff together. She could pull herself together and she could move forward and she could take his advice and she could do what she needed to do to get where she wanted to go. And you know what she did? Do you think she took choice A or choice B? Did she crumble or did she take action? Type it in the comments. She took action. She took action. She went to New York. She got some development. She actually worked with Ryan Colby. She was part of the inner circle. COVID hit, kind of gave her a little setback, right? But that she didn't give up. She moved to LA. She started work modeling in LA. She did a lot of test shoots, worked with amazing photographers. Not too long ago, she had a meeting with that mean agent with the hat. And guess what? She got signed to his agency. This agent actually is also the one yesterday when I spoke about Medea, same agency. She got signed. Not too long ago, she booked a $10,000 job because she didn't crumble. She took action. Now she's getting married next week. I'm supposed to be at her wedding, but I have to be somewhere else. I'm so sad about that. But that's what we do here at VIP Ignite. We help you create your own success, but you have to take action. I can't want it more than you do. You have to take action. Last but not least, Scott Irwin. So Scott Irwin, when we first met him, he was a recovering accountant, is what he said. He had owned his own accounting firm. He was like burnt out on accounting. He had sold his firm. He's like, I want to be an actor. Like, took a big risk. I want to be an actor, he said. So he got on calls, he got on a Zoom call just like this one. And he's literally started taking action. The photo shoot right here, you can see this photo here. This was at our first photo shoot in Las Vegas. He was there. He had some photos taken. He met some agents there. And he's gone on to do amazing things. Okay. He does a lot more like feature background work, different things like that. But Scott booked one of his biggest movies because he could follow directions. So let me tell you this story. So there was this time he didn't know what the audition was for, but he got called in for the audition and they gave him very specific instructions. He had to wear black socks and then like one of those white like men's tank tops. I don't know what the politically correct thing to call them is today, so I'm not going to say it. But you know the white tank tops, like in the 50s, the men wore them, right? So that was the specific. And I had black socks, but he didn't have the white shirt. So he literally, as he was driving to the casting, he stopped off. He bought a 10-pack of these shirts, put one on, went into the casting. And he has a secret sauce too. Like when you meet him, like he's grateful, he's engaging, he's very well spoken. Like you can't not like Scott Irwin, okay, when you meet him. So he walks in, he's followed the directions to the T. And casting was like, wow. And he was like, what? He was like, they were like, you literally did exactly what we asked you to do. And he was like, isn't that what I was isn't that what I'm supposed to do? It was in the instructions, like on the call sheet, it said to wear this shirt and these socks. They were like, yeah. Because he followed the directions. Have any of you ever heard of a Academy Award winning film called Babylon? Yeah. He was in that film in multiple scenes because he followed directions, because he showed up, because they knew they could count on him. Not only that, he's done a ton of different independent films. He's done a ton of work, but he showed up, he followed directions. Another one, Walked in Gratitude. He used to be on our boot camps all the time. We could literally set our clocks to him, like writing a message, thank you so much, letting us know everything he learned. And now he's doing amazing things. I want you guys to understand something. Each and every one of those people that I just spoke about, they are you. I want you to know that. They took action. They said yes to themselves. They followed directions. They were patient. They showed up. They were resilient. They may have gotten a curveball thrown at them, but you know what? They hit it out of the park. Every one of those people that I just shared about, they are you. And I want you to understand that. They all took action. Type action in the comments. Are you seeing a theme here? They all took action. They're all authentically themselves. You saw they're all completely different people. They're all really successful in the industry. The secret sauce is showing up, taking action, being authentic, being willing to do the work, having the right mindset. They all knew that they could do this. Even when someone said, I don't think so, still push forward. And I can guarantee you're going to see each and every one of them on the big screen one day. Here's my question. Why can't that be you? I want that to be you. I want that to be you. We're not here because we like to educate people, but we're here because we want more success stories. Like I love those. I love all those people I talked about. I could talk about them all day long. Come ask me about them when you meet me in person in Las Vegas and Atlanta, anywhere. Ask me about any of them. I'll talk to you for hours about them. But I want you to be the next person that I talk about. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. All right. So now we're going to change our hats. Are you guys ready to change your hats a little bit? Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take off our success story. Well, you know what? We're not taking off our success story hat. We're going to keep that one on. We're going to put another hat on. We're going to put on our modeling hats. Okay? We're going to put on our modeling hats. Just give me one quick second to get this up. Okay. Hey, Alicia, why don't you unmute and talk for 2 seconds? Say hello to everyone while I'm getting the next
Hello, everyone. Hi. How are you? I think the time difference is catching up with me, man. Jet lag. Woo! Traveling quite a bit. All right, so we have our modeling hats on. How do they look? Okay. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you took action last night to post the secret sauce challenge? If you did, type I did it. Type it in the comments. Because I'll tell you what, Deneen, every single one of our success stories, they have one thing in common. One, they come on a Zoom call. Two, they didn't just manifest it, they took action. And I think that's so important. Cool. All right. I'm always amazed by people that go through like 8 hours of a boot camp and we ask them to do one challenge. You're looking to get an agent. If you couldn't do it for us, survey says you're probably not going to do for the agent. Yes, Jamie, I know you weren't here. I got an email. It was your nephew's birthday, right? See, sometimes Allie can read. Okay, cool. Awesome. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you have ever been on our calls before? If you're brand new, type brand new. You've never been on a call before. How many of you guys are brand new? Now, I know a lot of your faces, and I know a lot of you guys, I'm confused Ryan's name with Michael's. Michael Thumpkin, Ryan Colby. They sound alike, don't they? No. Okay. And they look nothing alike. They're both fabulous. Yes. Okay. You did the video this morning? Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Cool. So again, my name is Alicia Kabak, and I'm glad everybody's here on Sunday morning. Man, you know, this business has changed dramatically, and I love the fact that we're on Zoom. I've been traveling quite a bit. How many of you guys are following the company's Instagram? Because you should be. If you're not, you should be. I just came back from Vegas, like did a red eye, and then we were on Zoom all day yesterday, and I was like, oh. But you know, as much as I love sitting behind a desk and being on Zoom, today I'm coming to you from my home. Usually I have a 3-year-old that usually has toys all over the floor. So usually I just look around, I'm like, Kaden! But I love the fact that we're on Zoom and you didn't have to fly out to any of our offices today. And I'm really excited to meet everybody live and in person. But the reason why we do these calls is, you know, there's so many companies that do take advantage of talent. And, you know, the reason why it's 2 full days and not like an hour, not like 2 hours, is we want you to be really immersive in this experience. You know, so often people tell us that they don't have the right location, or their friends and family don't believe in them, or they don't have the right training, they don't know how to get started. Maybe they've been to companies before that they didn't really like the results. And you know, we really have to explain things like the way, I mean, this business isn't for everybody. You really have to be proactive. You know, we built a tremendous formula, as Deneen has shown you just some of the highlights of our success stories. I mean, back in the day, people used to have to spend a lot of money just to come and even meet with us. Think about it. Before Zoom, you would literally have to fly to New York City or to Philly or to Miami, wherever we were, LA, and meet with us live. How many of you guys are glad we're on Zoom today? Right? Kind of cool. No travel necessary. But when Zoom kind of, oh, it's so convenient. It is. But think about the convenience. At what cost? At what cost is this convenience? Well, it's easy. Anybody could just get on Zoom. Anybody, which means your competition now is the entire world, right? Think about it. So you really need to know the formula. If oh, I want an agent. Does an agent want you? If there was a casting today, do you even have the proper materials? Think about it. Everybody emails me, can I book work? Well, you could, but I don't know you. And if you got a chance to audition, are you even ready for the audition? Does that make sense? If that makes sense, type makes sense. Because we kind of went over this yesterday with Cynthia Stillwell, who's casted, some of the biggest movies to date: Selma, Glory, Fried Green Tomatoes. We're talking like Academy Award winning movies. People typically go in with a headshot, right? Then they have their monologue ready to go. They know how to do a slate. And one of the first things they're looking for is training. So, how many of you right now feel as though you're perfect where you are, you don't need any help, you're just looking to book work? Or how many of you are like, man, if I got a chance to sit down face to face with a top agent or casting director, I better make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. I better make sure my photos are exactly what they want to see, not what my friends and family want to see. I also need to make sure, if given a script, I know how to do a proper self tape. I know how to read sides. I know how to do the lighting properly. I know that if I got a call back, I'm financially able to afford to go to New York or to LA or to Vegas or Atlanta, wherever it is, because that's part of it. No one is just going to, oh, here you go. Anybody ever see Coming to America? Let's roll out the red carpet and throw rose petals at your feet. Unless you're like Tyler Perry, Denzel, unless you have a major brand, you are on your own. It's feast or famine. And you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry for it. And I find so often that people are just so nonchalant, like, well, if it happens, it happens. I'm sorry, what? Do you see the award back there? That's not, oh, well, if it works, it works. That's like 18 years of like making some of the worst mistakes ever, spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of tears. You get rewarded in public for kicking butt in private. And I really want to say that to you. You get rewarded in public for kicking butt in private. So I don't want to hear any excuses. I want to know that the pain is so great and so dire that you're willing to do what it takes to get to where does it want to go. You're not asking for favors, because we can put you in front of the biggest names, but no one can guarantee you work. Who can guarantee you work? I want you guys to think about this. If I put Solange, who I know very well, in front of a top casting director, I know she's ready. She's part of our inner circle. She's been to New York with us. She's been, where else have we been? Oh my gosh. I know we go everywhere, but we're constantly together. I know she's on every single call. I know she's taking notes. I know from the Facebook group, she takes action every time she's given an opportunity to. I know that she thanks everybody. She, does positive reinforcements about, meeting the right people, having proximity, having the power, because that gives her authority. Does that make sense? And I kind of want to say this, like, real castings are not posted on websites. So given a chance to meet a top agent, given a chance to meet a casting director, I want everybody here to type time kills all deals. Time kills all deals. And Deneen, we've been talking about momentum and taking action. And you can't get into show business by being lazy. When the pain is so great, you're like, that's it. I'm in a bad relationship. I have to change it. I'm in a horrible position at work. I have to change it. If that head hits that pillow and you're not willing to change it, guess what's going to happen tomorrow night when your head hits the pillow? The same exact things that are happening today. If you're here, you want a reset, you want a chance. How many of you like have thought about getting into show business since you were little? And sometimes life gets in the way, school, work, kids. I say that laughing because Caden's right there. But relationships, family, sickness, right? Shit happens. And sometimes it sidetracks us like, well, it will happen when it happens. You're here because you want to take action.
Yep.
Put him on. No, you don't want to see Caden right now. He's a hot mess. He just woke up. His hair is crazier than normal. But I really want to say this, like, you're here because you want to take action. How many of you guys have maybe tried before to get into this industry? You paid for websites or pictures or classes. Those things are cute, but that's what amateurs do. Anybody with a credit card can do that. How many of you are ready to sit down face to face with actual decision makers and know that the power relies in you to literally make shit happen. Think about it. If given a chance to audition, you have to be ready to go. And that's why you're here. You were here all day yesterday. You're here today. You're here because what you're doing isn't working, or you've heard of stories. I call them the bad boyfriends. Sorry, guys, where companies have taken advantage. But we have thousands of success stories. We've opened the stock exchange. Like Michael's book right now is #1 on Amazon. Like we have Mark Victor Hansen, publisher of Chicken Soup for the Soul, who's also our publisher. Success leaves clues. I was just on a podcast like 48 hours ago, John Kelly's podcast. He has 20 million followers. Like, oh my God, right? Grant Cardone was on like 2 weeks ago. And then here's Alicia K back, right? We have top people in the industry that love our company. So unlike any other entertainment-based company in the world, you know, Deneen, one of our biggest problems you and I have, and even Mike, is that we work on high levels. You know, one day we're on set, you know, maybe filming one of our new movies, or, you know, working with somebody like a Les Brown, you know, all these tremendous people. But then we also have to find a balance of also working with brand new people that have no idea about anything. And sometimes it leaves, right? You ever find like it's like weird,
You know
right?
what I do, but with my background, because I used to
Yeah.
work in the dental industry. Okay, so 6 years ago, I didn't know very much. So for me, the way I see it, and I for you, it's you've been doing this for 18 years.
18
So
years. And Michael's always
it's a
like,
lot
remember when
different.
we first started? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh God.
but for me, it's like I realize I do this every once in a while, but I always, whenever I'm talking to someone, whether it's Mark Victor Hansen or Les Brown or someone who's absolutely brand new in the industry, I'm like, okay, well, where are they, right? Like, where are you? And how can I talk not in, I used to call, when I worked in the dental office, I always called it dentalese. I'm like, when the dentist would talk to me, yeah, you know, we got to do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they don't know what number 32 is. So just stop right now. Okay, we have to do this, right? So for me, like I like to break things down to the basics. So it is challenging, but one of the people was talking about how their secret sauce is adaptability. So
Yeah.
it's like adapting to the environment, adapting to the person that you're speaking to, and always like being uplifting, whether you're talking to Mark Victor Hansen or someone who like they're like, I want to be famous. I'm like, okay, hold on, let's take a step back and
If I
let's
even hear I want to
let's
be famous, that makes my skin crawl.
but for
Because
me,
you're
I'm
not
like, you
willing to
know
put
what?
in the work. You're not here for the right reasons.
Yes, but at the same time, maybe that's the only way that they can communicate it. So for me, so I have a little bit of a different mind that, but that's why we're yin and yang
Yeah.
also. Like
Good cop, bad cop,
yeah.
always.
So for me,
But
it's a
I
little,
think that's important that you're here for success, right? How
yep.
many of you guys want success and you're willing to put in the work?
You want even more success.
Yeah. Maybe elevate.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for, I love technology, but sometimes technology doesn't love me as much as I love it, but we're
No, it
good.
did not love me this morning, Janine White.
Okay. Well, anyway, are you guys ready now?
Yay for technology.
Well, technology is why we're all here together in one Zoom room. So it's pretty amazing. All right. So what I'm going to do now, is it okay if we break down the different types of modeling for you? I know that Ryan Colby did this yesterday, but I'm going to go over it one more time with you guys in a much different way. All right. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about diversity and the science and structure. Oh, diversity and being you, the science, the structure, and the framework. What type of model are you? All right. So first thing I want you to know is that the world has changed. Years and years ago, if you wanted to talk about being a model, everyone had one thing in mind. They talked about high fashion. They talked about someone who was really tall, really skinny, really striking looking. We talked about that yesterday, right? But the world has changed. Okay. What you need to do is you need to create a new mindset, and then you're going to get new results. Here in 2024, diversity is in. When you're talking about modeling, diversity is in. There are so many different types of modeling. Again, as you can see, everyone is now represented in modeling. Okay. We have transgender models. Ryan represents a couple transgender models. A lot of the agencies that we work with, they also represent transgender models. 15, 20 years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank God that the world has changed the way it has, right? Right now, success in the entertainment industry is all about what makes you unique. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about authenticity. What is it that makes you unique? That's what is going to help you be even more successful in the entertainment industry. As you can see, this is our board from Truth Management. We work with people of all ages, all ethnicities, all heights. I mean, we work with a wide variety of people. Some of our most successful models have been people that would not have been traditional models. Here in the upper left-hand corner, this is Allie Cleveland. When we first met her, she was a football coach in Maine. And she decided, you know what, I want to do this full time. I want to be a model. Let's see here. We have Aracelis, like she is a mom of 5 kids. She lives in Sacramento. We have a wide variety of models that we represent. And I just want you to understand that it's what makes you unique that's going to help you be even more successful in the entertainment industry. Here are some more of the people that we represent. Infinity is doing amazing things. She lives in Atlantic City. She's in New York all the time. We have Josh Rada. He actually is a lawyer. He's a lawyer in Washington, D.C. He decided, hey, you know what? I want to, he's also a singer. Now he's also working in modeling. So we have a wide variety of people that we work with. And I just want you to understand that there's room for everyone in the modeling industry. So again, when most of the world talks about what a model is, they have it wrong. Okay. 90% of the people, if you talk to them, even if you talk to my family, like, oh yeah, they're tall, they're skinny, they're this, they're that. So when most people are talking about modeling, what they're describing a high fashion model. Ryan talked about them yesterday, right? He said he called them, I don't know what word he uses, but when Mike talks about them, they're striking looking, right? So the job of a high fashion model is not to be absolutely gorgeous. The job of a high fashion model is to model clothes, right? So they have to be a certain height, they have to have certain measurements, because whether they're in New York, Milan, Paris, they have to be able to all fit these clothes that the designers create, right? They have to be able to fit the sample sizes. Okay, here's some more examples of high fashion models. Okay, so when we're thinking about high fashion models, what does that mean? Like, what exactly does that mean? Okay, so what that means is that a high fashion model is tall, slender, and unique looking. They're typically hired, these men and women are typically hired for high fashion. The British Association of Model Agencies explains that a female model's height should be between 5'8" and 5'11", with a 6 to 8 dress size and a 34, 24, 34 bust, waist, and hip measurement. So basically, in order to be a high fashion model, you have to have hit the genetic lottery, okay? For a man on the runway, male models who wear the latest designer fashions must be at least 6 foot tall. Male models that are photographed for editorial advertising purposes are required to be between 5'11" and 6'2", and fit into a 40R jacket. Okay, so some people may think, oh my God, that's not me. I can't do that. You know what? You're right. That's only 10% of the population. In the comments, type 10% of the population. Essentially, in order for you to be a high fashion model, like, you have to hit the genetic lottery. Your mom and your dad, they had to come together and they had to make like the perfect baby, right? It's not for everyone. Okay. But is it okay if I share good news with you? Because some people are like, oh my God, I want it to be a high fashion model. I'm going to share some good news with you. Now, 80% of the modeling industry is not high fashion. That only comprises of 10% of the modeling industry. So think about this. Okay. Commercial print models. Ryan went over this yesterday. So commercial print models book many jobs, including print advertisements, catalogs, campaigns, television shows, magazines, trade shows, and much more. So commercial print is like, I have hand lotion next to me all the time. If I were going to be a model, I would be a commercial print model, right? I would be able to do what everyone else in the world can do. Like, I can do basic, different advertisements, like think like Target, think different things like that. Okay. The great thing about being a commercial print model is that there are no height or size requirements. You have to have an attractive face. Everyone smile. Okay, congratulations. You can all be commercial print models. So you have to have a good smile, an attractive face, good skin, and a nice body. Okay. So that's what commercial print is. Commercial print is pretty much the person next door who, hey, if that person could do it, so can I. Right? Think about people in like Macy's ads. This Macy's ad right here. These are all commercial print models. They kind of look like the person, like if you went to Starbucks this morning, you probably would have seen people that look just like this in line. That's what a commercial print model is. Okay, again, these are all commercial print models. The great thing is we talked about diversity. So now with commercial print, you're going to see a wide variety of different people, right? You have the traditional family, mom, dad, 2 kids. You have 2 dads and their 2 kids. You have moms and their kids. Like you have, the thing is with commercial print modeling and the way the industry is now, it's much more inclusive than it's ever been. Everyone should be able to see themselves in an advertisement. That's what commercial print modeling is. Okay. This here is Anaya. She is a commercial print model. She could also be a fit model. She is only 5'4", as you can see. So she's a perfect commercial print model. How many of you could see yourself in Anaya? How many of you are like I am, your fun size? Like, okay, you know what? I'm not quite 5'8" to 5'11", right? That's a commercial print model. This is what you qualify for. I love, this is one of my favorite slides. Like this lady here is a commercial print model, right? Like she's a grandma with rollers and a gun. And like, how many of you have ever been walking down the street and you saw like a grumpy old grandma looking person? Now when you see them, don't be like, oh my God, she looks so angry. Be like, hey, did you know you could be a commercial print model? Like, look at her. And she got paid to do this, right? She's obviously not in her 20s. How cool is that? Does that make anyone else feel better? Every time I see this slide, I'm like, okay, you know, I feel a little bit better about myself. Every time I see a grumpy old person now, I'm like, commercial print model, right? Kind of diffuses the whole thing with them, right? But just so you know, like this is a commercial print model. This woman here too, right? The older I get, the prettier my portfolio is. The beautiful thing about being a little bit more mature is that when you are more mature, you can do like ads for AARP, you can do bank ads, you could do dental implant ads, because the reality is that for each company, when they're hiring models, they want to hire models that look like the people that would actually use their products, right? So if we hired like a 22-year-old spry young spring chicken to do an AARP ad, do you think that any people in their 50s and above, do you think they would buy AARP? Type a yes or no in the comments. No, of course not. Older people want to buy from people that look like themselves, right? So that's one of the beautiful things about being a little bit older now, right? Before it was like, okay, only young people, only absolutely stunning people can be models. But now advertisers realize, or clients realize, that people want to buy from people that look like them, right? Same thing here. Look, we have mixed ethnicity family here for this ad here. Beautiful family, right? How many of you can see yourselves in this ad? Right? Diversity is what's in right now. Diversity matters. Like being diverse is an amazing thing. This is Sid. I believe she's on the call right now. Yeah, I said good morning to her. She's one of our models. She started modeling when she was older. Like she was in her 60s when she decided to start modeling. She had a job in transportation previously, but growing up, she always wanted to be a part of the fashion industry. She always wanted to share beauty with people. She wanted to share that you can still be absolutely beautiful. You can be a model, but you can also be modest, right? She's a Muslim and she's booking work all the time. She's actually currently on a show called Girls on the Bus. She's in episode 4 of season 1, so definitely check it out. But she's booking work all day long. So it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is, what your religious background is. You can book work. Okay. I want you to understand that you can book opportunities. You just have to take action. You have to be someone who takes action, because there's a place for you in the entertainment industry. There's a place for you in modeling. Again, when you go to the cover, when you see the cover of magazines, look at all these beautiful different looks. You've got Oprah, you've got Ebony. Like the thing is, there's fitness modeling. There's so many different opportunities out there for modeling. You should all be celebrating right now instead of just listening to me. Like you should all inside, you should be like, yes, yes. You should all be celebrating, because you know what? There are possibilities for each and every one of you. Look at these magazines. They literally represent every person on this call right now. You look in Times Square. Oh my gosh. When you're in Times Square, first of all, one of the most electric places in the United States, but the possibilities are endless. Everyone is represented. Just like there are so many different types of people walking around Times Square, same thing in advertising now, same thing in modeling. You guys all know Alicia Kavak. You just heard from her. She's co-founder of VIP Ignite. Just want to share some of the amazing things she's done. She had the opportunity to open NASDAQ with her cast from Dinner with the Boys with Dan Lauria. How many of you know Dan Lauria from the Wonder Years? She had the opportunity to do that. Here she is standing outside the NASDAQ. Like, how cool is that? She has had the opportunity to meet Jim Gaffigan, like just all these amazing people. This is Alicia when they won the Tony in 2013 for Masha, Vonya, Sonia, Masha, and Spike. She's done amazing things. The thing is I want you to understand about this industry too, is not only is it open for everyone, but you need a good mentor. You need someone who's gone where you want to go. And you're in good hands here. Alicia's done amazing things. She talked about being on the podcast. I mean, how many of you have opened up NASDAQ? That's pretty cool, right? Again, another commercial print ad, right? I want you to understand that the opportunities are there for you. The opportunities are there for you. This is another type of modeling here. This is commercial print, but this is e-commerce. So this is one of Ryan's models. Actually, it was shot in New York for a Korean brand. How many of you would love the opportunity to go somewhere like with e-commerce? What you do is you show up to a studio and sometimes you do like 50 to 100 different looks in one day. You get paid really well for e-commerce too. But this isn't an ad that you would necessarily see here in the United States. But how many of you would like to get paid to model clothes, get paid really well, even if you didn't have a chance to see yourself in the photos? If you would be interested in doing that, type a 1 or 1 in the comments. This is another opportunity for you for modeling, all right? E-commerce. And if you want to think more about this, like how many of you have ever bought some clothes off of Amazon or you bought clothes offline? Like Torrid ending their Torrid cash today, right? How many of you have gone online and bought clothes? That's e-commerce. Those models are e-commerce models. Okay, that's another type of modeling you can do. Here's some more photos from that, right? They shot all these in New York in one day. Pretty cool, right? How many of your minds are getting opened up? You're like, oh my gosh, there's so many more opportunities than I thought. That's the point. Like today, that's what we're doing today. This is what I want you to understand too. This could be you. Everything you want is on the other side of you taking action, of you saying yes to yourself. This is James Johnson. So he was a model that we have worked with. I remember the first time I ever met him, oh my gosh. Okay, so he grew up in a small town in North Dakota, literally only had one traffic light. He was so goofy. The first time we met him, he thought he was a model. His dad, he lived in California for a while. He was doing online coaching with some acting coach from LA. He really thought he was a model. He thought he was an actor. He walked in and Ryan Colby saw him and he was like, you need to go get yourself some new clothes and come back and shoot later because the clothes that you brought are completely wrong. He brought what he wanted. Ryan was like, no. This is not how we do this. But James Johnson is an amazing story because he came in, he thought he knew what he was doing. Like he had been like putting himself up on websites, doing little things like that, working with a quote unquote coach in LA. But when Ryan met him, he was like, you know what? I see some potential in this kid. I see some potential in this guy. Ryan took him under his wings, started working with him. And I'll never forget his first event too. He had the opportunity to perform his monologue for Thomas G. Waits, who, if you don't know him, he was in like pretty much every production you can possibly imagine. He was in The Warriors. He was in just a multitude of different things, but he's an amazing acting coach. And I'll never forget the first time that James worked with Thomas G. Waits, he was like, yeah, I got this. He went up and Thomas was like, what are you doing? And like James literally almost started crying because he went up. He was so arrogant. But after he had the opportunity to work with Thomas G. Waits, like his whole demeanor changed. So the point I'm trying to make here is this. It doesn't matter what package you walk in with. It matters the attitude that you have, the mindset that you have. Like, are you willing to change? Are you willing to take direction? Are you willing to transform yourself? Are you willing to move to New York? So James moved to New York. He lived in New York for a while. Now he lives full time in Los Angeles. Not only is he still modeling on occasion, but now he's doing a lot of acting. He's writing and producing in his own films, directing his own films. He and his best friend live in LA full time, writing and producing films. Like, how many of you can see yourself doing that? Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Here's another model here we got going on, right? Just want you to understand, like, there are so many different types of models that you can be. This guy could be obviously high fashion, but because of his build, he's more of like a fitness model. Okay. How many of you have ever heard this guy here on the right hand side, right? Again, modeling, right? They're both models. Models come in all ages, all shapes, all sizes. I love this one too. This is Geico, right? This is a family. This is a commercial print modeling, right? Got the dog. The dog's actually the highlight of the whole thing, at least for me. But you got the kid, the mom, the dad. This is commercial print, right? How many of you could see yourself doing an ad like this? Okay, here's another one. How many of you know who this is? Do you guys know who this is? This is Flo from Progressive, right? How many of you know her story? Like, we know Flo. How many of you know Flo? How many of you know her story? Let me ask you a question. If you were in line at Starbucks and you saw the person on the right, would you be like, oh my God, it's Flo from Progressive? No, right? Because this is her character. This is who she really is. We're going to talk about her resume in a couple of minutes. Like, she wanted to be a comedian. She wanted to be an actor. She had no desire to be Flo from Progressive. Her agent reached out to her and said, hey, I have an opportunity for you. And you know what she said? What did she say when her agent said, hey, I have an opportunity for you to act in this commercial? What did she say? Take a guess. Type it in the comments. What did she say? She said yes, right? Everything you want is on the other side of you saying yes. You have to say yes. When an opportunity comes, you say yes. All right. This here is Jesse Heidemann. Like, how many of you had a kid who looked like him in your high school, right? How many of you maybe were him in your high school, right? You look at him, you're like, oh, okay, obviously successful actor. Like, if you saw him today walking down the street, would you be like, oh my God, obviously you're a successful actor? You know, be like, no, that you're kind of a nerd, right? He's known as the world's best extra. He's played in so many movies. He was in American Pie. He had the opportunity to kiss Bar Raphael in a Super Bowl ad, right? But the thing is like, he leans into his character. He's not trying to be Brad Pitt. He knows that he's the nerdy guy. And he's booking work all day long. Scott Irwin, who I talked about a little while ago. Do you remember I talked about Scott Irwin? He actually was on the bus with Jesse Heidemann and sent us a picture because they were both on the same film. How cool is that? How many of you would love to be on a bus going to set and you see, oh my gosh, I know you. I saw you on that PowerPoint. That could be you. I want you guys to understand that. That can be you. Lean into your character. Because you know what? Authenticity is key. Being unique is what is most important. And I want you guys to understand mindset is everything. In this industry, mindset is 80% of your success. Tools and tactics are only 20% of your success. So you have to have the right mindset. All right, let's go back to Flo from Progressive. How many of you know what her real name is? If you've ever been on one of these calls, you know. Her name is Stephanie Courtney. Okay. So Stephanie Courtney, like, this resume is actually outdated. Before our next call, we're actually going to update her resume. But look at all the amazing things that she's been in. She's been in ER. She was in Mad Men. She was in Cavemen. She was in Fred the Show. I think I saw a comedy, a special on that. She was in Two Broke Girls. She was in Mike Tyson Mysteries. Like, literally, she was in Fred 2, Night of the Living Dead. Like, literally, her resume is longer. We couldn't even put everything that she's been in on her on her resume here. But I want you to understand something. She has an amazing, amazing resume, but do you know what she makes the most money off of? Being Flo from Progressive. How many of you would love to have an amazing resume where you've been on the biggest shows on television, but maybe you're making $2-3 million a year as a spokesperson? How many of you are like, you know what? I would sign me up, Deneen. Yes, I want to do that. These are the possibilities because you know what? At the end of the day, she leans into her character, right? Like, look at all of these amazing things that she did. She also went to Second City, which is one of the biggest schools for comedy. So, like, literally, Second City, like, if you've ever watched that, how many of you have ever seen a little show called Saturday Night Live? Yeah, that's where all the cast members of Saturday Night Live go. Second City, that's where she was trained, right? And again, this is a little bit outdated, but right now she's earning at least $2 million a year being Flo from Progressive. Like every time I see her now, I used to think, oh my God, Progressive, let me check my car insurance. Now, whenever I see one of those commercials, I hear cha-ching, cha-ching, because every time that runs, she's making money. How many of you would love to be in a commercial where every time you see yourself, cha-ching, cha-ching? Yeah. Okay, so Carol Miller, you're my only commercial person. Everyone should be saying yes. That's a tremendous opportunity for you. So we've gone over commercial print modeling, we've gone over commercials. Let's talk about promotional modeling. How many of you have the gift of gab like I do? I could like literally, I could talk to you guys about this until tomorrow, but I'm sure that there are other things that we're going to be talking about, but promotional modeling is a great opportunity for you. So if you are someone who can learn to talk, right? You can learn about products. If you like people, like how many of you would love the opportunity to work on the weekend making $15 to $80 an hour talking to people because you're learning about a product and you're telling people about it, right? Who's Freya? Freya's an expert talker. I know I've been on a call with you, right? But promotional modeling is a great way to go. It's a great way to earn income on the weekend. We have one talent who lives in Dallas, Texas, and that woman literally books promotional jobs every single weekend. Every single weekend I'm seeing her working at different trade shows, doing different things. This is a great way to earn money as a model. We actually work with one of the biggest promotional modeling companies in the world. How many of you would love the opportunity to sit down with the owner of that agency and have the opportunity to learn more about this? How many of you would love the opportunity to be a promotional model? Earn some extra money on the weekends. And you're a model. We literally, the person who owns that agency is a really good friend of ours. Like his wife, the reason he got into promotional modeling, he was doing other things. His wife was a promotional model for Ferrari. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many of you would love to get paid to talk about Ferraris? And then as one of the job requirements, get sent over to Europe to have to learn all about the Ferraris. How many of you think that sounds like a sweet deal? Type me in the comments. Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Promotional modeling is a great way to go, especially if you like learning, if you like talking to people. It's a great way into the industry. Fitness modeling. This is another thing. Like a lot of like these guys and these ladies, their bodies are amazing, but they won't fit in most clothes, right? Like these guys, like their arms are bigger than like the whole model. Most of those male models we saw, right? So having the opportunity to be a fitness model, maybe you're someone who's super fit, you're into fitness. That's another type of modeling you can get into. Plus size modeling. People, again, like growing up, I never knew I could be a model. Like I was never told. Like that wasn't something that was an option when we were younger, when I was younger. But now plus size modeling is everywhere you see. All the brands, every brand is making clothes that are larger, right? You still have to be in shape. Like you can't just show up and you still have to be in shape in some way. But now you don't have to fit that size 6 to 8, right? How awesome is that? How freeing is that? How many of you are excited there are so many more opportunities now? If that sounds like you, type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Something else, kids, right? I don't think I have any kids on here right now, but kids are models too. Like there's There are a lot of opportunities for kids. We know it's not going to be with Colby. He said that very plainly yesterday, but there are agencies that represent kids. Like every family that we saw earlier in the presentation, every one of those kids, they're a model. They're a model. And again, like so much has changed in the industry. There's so much more diversity. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, there's an opportunity for you as long as you're willing to take it. Let me ask you a question. Are you someone who's willing to take action? Someone who's willing to put yourself out there? Someone who is like, okay, you know what? I can do this. If that sounds like you, type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Because all you have to do is take action. All you have to do is take action. The world has changed. Thank God. It's 2024. The world has changed. Mindset is everything. The one thing that we talked about, the theme of the whole weekend, is what makes you unique. Authenticity. Authenticity is what people are looking for now. They're not looking for cookie cutter. They're looking for authenticity. Type that in the comments. Type authenticity in the comments or type unique in the comments. It's right there. What makes you unique? I want you guys to really start thinking about that. We did that challenge yesterday. What's your secret sauce? What makes you unique? That's what people are looking for. And here at VIP Ignite, we work with people who are unique. That's what we're looking for, people that are unique. We're not looking for cookie cutter people. We want to work with people that are unique. This is at one of our photo shoots in Miami. This photographer here, his name is Juan Algarin. He literally worked with some of the biggest brands, like you name it, he's worked with them. He shot over 32 covers of Vogue, probably more now. Ryan Colby discovered him. I'll have Ryan talk to you about that later. All right. So in 2024, diversity and being you, the science and structure and the framework, what type of model are you? So these are the types of models we went over, and I want you to think about this. What type of model are you? Are you a high fashion model, a runway model, editorial, promotional? Are you a fitness model, plus curve model? Are you a teen or child model, commercial print lifestyle model? In the comments, let me know. Let me know, which type of model are you? Which type of model are you? 2 and 6. Okay, commercial, fitness. 2, 4, and 6. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Number 2, promotional model. Awesome. That's phenomenal. And I want you guys to truly understand the opportunities are there for you. The opportunities are there for you. Everything you want is on the other side of you saying yes to those opportunities. Do you understand that? If you understand, type I understand in the comments. But you have to take action. And that's what we're here for, right? You guys aren't here because you're like, oh my gosh, you're here because you want to take action. You are action takers. Type I take action in the comments. I take action. Because you are an action taker. You're here. You take action. You are a winner. And I want you to understand that. You already have your mindset may be transforming, it may be growing, but you already have what it takes to be successful because you're here right now. You take action. I know Alicia was asking who did their secret sauce videos last night. If you did your secret sauce video last night, Jamie, you don't have to because we know you were at a birthday party. We got it. Okay. But if you did your challenge, that means you're an action taker. You're a winner. You're someone who does what it takes. And I want you to understand that that's what it takes. It takes taking action. How many of you are excited right now? Are you guys excited? How many of you are a little overwhelmed because we're giving you a lot of information? Is that cool too? A little bit. Okay. So why don't we do this? What we're going to do now, we're going to move. I'm going to have you guys, I can't really stand up and move around. I'm sitting this. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting this weekend. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to move, like do a little stretch. Stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, exactly. You get rewarded in public for what you do in private. If you're not getting rewarded in public, what more can you be doing in private right now to make that happen? That's the question I have for you. All right. I know I didn't do this very much yesterday, but let's drink some water too. It's water o'clock, everyone. Bust out your water. Let's have some water. Jamie, I think your water bottle's the only one that's bigger than mine. I have to up my game. I don't like this. All right, let me ask you a question. What was your biggest takeaway from what type of modeling you qualify for? I know, I love his water bottle too. In the comments, what's your biggest takeaway? What are you most excited about? For me, my biggest takeaway, the thing I'm most excited about is commercials. I'm gonna share another story with you. Alicia, maybe you could pull this up because I know that you're like, you've got all these things like on cue somehow. So about 2 years ago, we had a talent, his name is Avinash. And he got on a call just like you guys are on right now. And he was like, oh my gosh, like such an amazing guy, right? He came to that photo shoot that we did in Atlanta. He took some amazing photos. He started getting submitted out for work. Amazing thing happened. He called me one day. He's like, Deneen, I have this opportunity. They want to fly me to Portugal for 10 days. I was like, okay, well, send me over the information. Let me take a look at this. And just a little bit of background. He was someone who doesn't take action very quickly. Okay. It took for him, he was someone who had to be convinced that he could do this. And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. He finally did take action. And so he got this opportunity to go to Portugal for 10 days. They flew him over there. They paid his flight, room, board. They paid him to be there. All these things. He was so excited. He sent me a couple little clips here and there of what he was doing. Fast forward, the commercial goes through production, all these things. Next thing I know, Alicia, Mike, and I are somewhere. I don't even remember where in the world we were.
I think we were in Mexico.
We were in Mexico. Okay, we were in Mexico. Okay, so we weren't even in the United States.
We were having margaritas. Yeah.
Okay. And we're watching TV. And all of a sudden, we see Avinash in a commercial. And we were like, what? So we were in Mexico, we saw him. We were in Arizona, we saw him. We were in Pennsylvania, we were in Florida. We were somewhere else also. We were literally everywhere we went, he kept popping up. Not only and this was for an Upwork commercial. How many of you saw?
I'll share my screen because I have, hold on.
I know you did. I can always.
I always do. This was our movie. Oh, there's Mr. Big.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's get to the commercial that he did.
All right, so this is another one you can see. Hold on. Oh, here's Avinash. So here's Avinash, who had been trying to do this for a while, and his wife pretty much said, like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't working out. And he came on one of our Zoom calls and he's like, I know you guys are different, but you're gonna have to convince my wife. I said, dude, if you're 18 and you could fight for your country, literally take a bullet, you could fight for your dreams. How many of you guys agree with that? Right? I think I told him to grow a pair of balls. And here I said, this is congratulations to Avinash. So he had sent this to us. Here's a commercial that I did, super exciting. I'll find the commercial. There's Avinash talking about here. And this commercial wins 9 Clio awards. So all this goes on his resume, which is huge.
And just so you guys know, in case you don't know what a Clio award is, a Clio award is an Academy Award for commercials. Yeah. It didn't win one, it won 9 Clios. Type 9 Clios in the comments.
And this was the challenge we did. Look, he's on the Model and Actor 2-day challenge. So a boot camp. Here he is showing us his runway walk. That was one of the challenges. I'm going to find, there he is talking about his first day at boot camp. Do you guys see, like, success starts on Zoom? This is so cool. There he is, happy again. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can play this. How many of you guys have ever seen this commercial with, like, the boardroom, right? So this commercial worldwide, and I'm going to find the commercial real quick.
Here, hold on. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Just bear with me here.
Look at him doing more challenges.
The
But you know what I love most about Avinash is when you ask him to do a challenge, he does it. How many of you guys see that he puts in the work, right? He doesn't just show up and I want to be famous. Like he's putting in the work. You see him doing challenges. And I think that's so important. And he still talks to every single person with the company. He still talks to us. There was, you know, again, this is what we do. I'll stop sharing. Do you want me to find the link, Deneen?
I'm working on it right now. Hold on.
I know I have it somewhere.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
You got it?
Had to work.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen and share the sound. So here we go.
But how many of you guys see success leaves clues? Right? He showed up on the Zoom call. Yeah. We obviously have tremendous connections. Yeah. He saw how we were different from other companies. Yeah. But he didn't really have to convince his wife. Who did he really have to convince that he could do this? Himself. Right? And every single time he said, Deneen, some of the challenges were so silly, but thank you for making me do them. Because every single time his agent needed something, hey, I need to see a video of you walking. Hey, I need to see some digitals. Hey, I need you to do a slate. How many of you guys understand and trust the process? Because that's what it's about. Oh, they're making me post something in the Facebook. I'm sorry. The things we're asking you to post are the same things an agent would ask you to post. You're welcome.
Doing 1 second.
And he needed a community. Yeah, you got to trust the process always.
You know what I'll do? What I'll do is I'll share we'll share the commercial in the Facebook group, and your job later will be to go in there and take a look at it. Okay. Because it's really cool. And when you're doing this, I want you to celebrate Avinash, but I want you to celebrate yourselves too, because it can be you. It all starts on a Zoom. He started on a Zoom just like this. All right. Cool. All right. So how many of you would be up for doing commercials, be up for winning Clio awards, for like doing all of these things? Can you see yourselves doing that? If you can, type yes in the comments. Type something. Let me see your excitement. Because again, today is action day. Today is transformation day. And the transformation has to be in here where you know, right? Belief is, oh yeah, I believe I can do that. We're not talking about getting knitting needles and having them grow dust, like get dusty. We're talking about you taking action. We're talking about you doing those things that you say you want to do, right? All right. So speaking of mindset, I told you guys earlier that 80% of success is mindset, 20% is tools and tactics. How many of you know that your mindset can grow a little bit or a lot? Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. How many of you are willing to have your mindset grow so that you can be even more successful? Type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Because that's what we're going to talk about now. Right now, our next segment, we're going to talk about a millionaire mindset. And for some of you, being a millionaire, you're like, whoa, I can't even fathom that. But how many of you want to have the tools and resources that you need so that you can do anything you want? How many of you want that? How many of you want to be able to do anything you want? You just set your mind to it, and you know what? You make it happen. That sounds like you. This next presentation is for you. So without further ado, we're going to have Miss Alicia Kabak talk to you about millionaire mindset.
So fun. Let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. How do I do this now, Deneen? I never use PowerPoint. I go to present.
You just click. Yeah, you can. Yeah, hit present.
Yeah. Start with beginning.
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes, you did a good job.
Yeah, technology. Sometimes it's my friend, sometimes not. Okay, the millionaire mindset for models and actors, no matter age, experience, or who you currently are. The secrets to unlocking it. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Unlocking unlimited potential. So new mindset, new results. How many of you guys are ready to kind of shift your mindset, right? Because I think that's super, super important. If you do what you've always done, you're always going to get the same results, right? So it's time for new results. So what are your chances of becoming rich? Here are the statistics. Of 100 people working from age 20 to age 65, a 45-year time period, one becomes rich, 4 become financially independent, 5 are still working, 28 are dead. Oh, that's sad. And 62 are dead broke. Eeks. Let's look at this according to percentages. So what this actually means is in America, 5% of the people who make it financially and 95% don't. Whoa. That's an amazing statistic. So there's a definite line that separates the haves from the have-nots. And when it comes to making it financially in America, 5% make it. 5%. How many of you guys want to be part of that 5%? That's a 5% success rate. 95% don't. That's scary when you think about it. It's even scarier when you read those numbers in a little different way. In the wealthiest country that has ever existed in the history of the world, you have a 95% chance of not making it and only a 5% shot at making it. Let me just see, how many of you guys are willing to take the shot? Because think about it. Oh, well, I don't think it's going to work out. 95%, it just doesn't. How many of you guys are ready to be the top 5%? Top 5%. Right? Good. Let's keep going. I'll assume that you're a person who has a desire to end up in the top 5% instead of the bottom 95%. If I pegged you right and you're one of the people who want to be in the top 5%, I could tell you how to do it in 2 sentences. In fact, these 2 sentences are so simple and so powerful that if you follow them, they will make you rich. So before we get into that, however, I want to make sure you are ready for your life change and that you're open to ideas that will challenge your thinking. The 2-sentence wealth formula is this. Are you guys ready? If you want to become financially wealthy, then you have to find out what the top 5% of people do financially and do the same thing. Oh, you would think we were talking about a formula. That is sentence number 1. The second sentence in the 2-second wealth formula is even more important than the first. Ready? If you got to find out what the bottom 95% are doing financially, and whatever else you do, don't do what they do. So here's the question I want to ask you. Who do you take advice from? Are you taking advice from the top 5% or the 95% on the bottom? Because whatever they're doing, you don't want to do. So why are you asking for their opinions, right? Does that make sense? Who would you rather ask advice from? The top 5%. So the question to ask then is, what do the top 5% do that those in the bottom 95% don't do? What do the bottom 95% do that the top 5% don't do? You need to study these 2 things in great detail. I would recommend that you become fanatical about finding out the difference between the habits of the rich and the habits of the poor. If you study both wealth and poverty, you can learn how to become wealthy. How many of you guys want to come out of your environment and only sit around millionaires, pick their brains, right? Do you think you would adapt good habits, right? Different mindset, different thinking in everything you do, even down to like what you're putting into your body, right? Maybe buy organic versus buying something else. Maybe not investing $7 in coffee every day, right? But investing in yourself, right? Think about it. The difference between the rich and the poor. Rich mindset seeks to spend their time, resources, and energy on work that continues to pay off long after the effort has been invested. Read that again. Rich mindset seeks to spend their time, resources, money, time, and energy on work that continues to pay off long after the effort has been invested. Rich mindset is all about getting a flywheel spinning. Poor mindset, it's all about the short-term results. Hours for dollars. How many of you guys have ever seen the Flintstones, right? Fred Flintstone clocks in, clocks out. He hears the bell and he's off, right? Think about it. Who are you in this scenario? What kind of mindset do you have? And it's okay if you have a poor mindset. Sometimes I wake up with a poor mindset and I got to call Deneen White and she's like, you ready for it? I'm like, go ahead. And she did it the other day, like right before I went live on that podcast. I was just like, oh, and I thought to myself, man, I'm traveling so much lately. As a mom, right? Oh, my mom is giving me pressure. I missed my cousin's wedding in Louisiana today. I'm like, Mom, I have a boot camp. You always have a boot camp, right? You have to develop a rich mindset, and it's not easy. How many of you guys believe that your brain can be trained, recalibrated? Because that's why you're here. That's why this is a 2-day live event. Everything we're talking about, it's not just about I want to, I want an agent, I want a casting director. We're also going over rich mindset, right? What do successful people do? How many of you guys are seeing the reason behind the madness, right? So don't work for your money. Have money work for you. Isn't that cool? Even while you're sleeping, money could be working for you. Poor people only understand how to work for money. What do I mean? Many poor people are hardworking individuals. That's true. It's not that they're lazy, who have a job that they either classify as a good job or a bad job. How many of you guys have friends that are like, I have a bad job or my job is good, right? If you ask me, I'm like, oh my God, my job is great, right? How many of you guys see the passion? Like anytime I'm traveling, so what do you do? Right? I'm like, oh my God, this is what I do. People can tell passion. So let me tell you this, a job, it is a job. Some jobs pay more, right? Some jobs pay more money than others, but it doesn't change the fact that you're trading time for money, right? How many of you guys have ever gotten a paycheck? 8 hours equals this, and you see your year to date, right? The reason people work for money is that they believe their time is money. Rich people know that time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. To prove it, think about this. If you run out of money, you can always get more money, right? But if you run out of time, it's over. You can't get more time. How many of you guys realize? I mean, think about it. Steve Jobs, right? You see like some of the most wealthiest people in the world couldn't buy more time. Couldn't buy more time. And if you think about it, man, it just triggers something in your brain that, oh shit, like I've got to change my thought process. Don't entertain yourself. Educate yourself. Another difference between the wealthy and the poor is that the poor people entertain themselves, but rich people educate themselves. Poor people collect DVDs and movies and video games. Rich people collect books, seminar experiences, and audio programs that teach them how to do something they want to learn how to do. Let me repeat that. Poor people entertain themselves. Rich people educate themselves. So I want you to think about this, and I'm gonna speak a little slower because this is something that I constantly do. They look for instant gratification, right? Think about it. Instant gratification, buying a new iPhone, buying a new TV, buying a new pair of Nikes, right? Something instant. Rich people are willing to put in the work, right? They're willing to educate themselves. Poor people stop learning as soon as they get out of school. Well, I'm done, I'm out, right? How many of you guys have friends that were like so excited to get out of school and then they just got a job? How many of you guys, right? And they may bitch about their job. I'm never going to have money, but they settle because it becomes comfortable, right? Rich people continue their education long after they graduate. Like you see us, if you follow our Facebook pages, our Instagram, you'll see that we're part of a lot of professional organizations. And a lot of times, like Deneen can attest to this, sometimes like even like with Tony Robbins, ClickFunnels, Bill Walsh, who we love to death, even Les Brown. Sometimes we hear the same teaching. It's almost like going to Disney, right? Going on It's a Small World. It is the same exact training over and over and over again. But sometimes Deneen and we have conversations where like, well, shit, that hit us differently this time, right? It hit us differently. Poor people stop learning as soon as they get out of school. Rich people continue their education long after they graduate. In fact, most rich people will tell you that the most valuable things that they've learned They didn't learn from school anyway. They learned them from mentors. They learned them from seminars. They learned them from books. They learned them from audio programs. They learn the things that they want to learn from people who know what they want to learn. Poor people entertain themselves. Rich people educate themselves. So stop entertaining yourself and start educating yourself. How many of you guys love that? I know I do. Another difference between the wealthy and the poor is that the poor people entertain themselves. Did I just read this? They start looking the same. Hold on. The average American spends 4 to 7 hours a day watching television. Damn you, Netflix. How many of you guys love Netflix? Netflix, right? It's a Netflix weekend. It's always a Netflix weekend. How many of you guys get really irritated when like you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch one more episode, and then all of a sudden, like it goes really fast, and then it like starts again. How many of you guys are like me, where like it just becomes an obsession? Just one more episode, just one more, right? Just one, sorry, just one more. So stop watching so much TV and I can't read today. Stop watching so much TV. Do you want to watch Netflix or be on Netflix? Think about it. So sometimes we watch Netflix. How many of you guys sometimes get engulfed? I know this happens to me quite a bit, like because sometimes life is so crazy. I feel like I don't have a lot of girlfriends. So like a lot of times I'll watch TV and I'll think to myself, like, I'm part of the show. Like these are my friends, right? How many of you guys have like escapism shows like that? Right? I know I do, right? Escapism shows. So if you love TV, think about what we could do to trade, right? Because as soon as that show is over, somebody type, is your life different or is it exactly the same when your TV turns off? Somebody tell me, is it exactly the same? It's exactly the same. As soon as that show is over, nothing has changed, right? Nothing has changed. So what can we do to push the dial forward? So why getting rid of your television is so important. There are actually many reasons, so let's examine some of them. The television is a cultural hypnotic device. It truly is. You should see Kaden right now watching Coco Melon. Yeah, there's no talking to him. It is used to influence and control society. Think about it. Television. It's going to tell us a vision, right? We are completely engulfed. The programming, the news media, the commercials have a profound effect on the financial situation of most people. Now, guys, I'm not here to talk politics, whether you love Trump, hate Trump, right? Like I live in DeSantis country. I'm in Florida. So some people really love DeSantis and others think he's crazy, right? Batshit crazy. Depending on what channel you watch, how many of you guys know that the media can sway your opinion, right? Totally. Even COVID. Do you guys remember? I hate to even say the C word out loud, but how many of you guys like watch CNN versus like MSNBC or right Fox, and totally different perspectives. So depending on what you watch, and we've gotten to it, Jeff and I get into many arguments with my sister when we go to her house because she's crazy. But I'm going to tell you right now, depending on her echo chamber and the TV show she watches and where she generates her news from, how many of you guys believe she's just a product of her environment, right? Totally, right? That's all she knows. That's all her friends know. So literally in a bubble. The television creates a victim mentality as people watch. I have a hard time. Rapes, robberies, and murders on the evening news or on violent TV dramas, right? People become more and more fearful. The commercials create a consumer mentality that encourages people to buy things they don't need and can't afford. TV keeps people trapped into thinking they're powerless and that changing their financial situation is impossible. The exact opposite is actually true. You are the one who has the best chance of changing your financial life. I want you to type me because you control everything. You really do. It's not society. It's not your family. It's not what's in your bank account. It's not the color of your skin, your weight, your age, your friends. It is all you. Stop lying to yourself. I want you to think about that. Stop lying to yourself. Every single person on here has the means to be successful. They do, not just in show business, but in life. Not the government, not a social program. Another problem with television is that it promotes the philosophy and that the main purpose of money is consumption or buying things. But the truth is that more important function of money is for creating wealth. How many of you guys would much rather trade money for success, right? Not immediate gratification. Most rich people don't have jobs. Wait, okay. Well, then how do they make money, right? Another difference between poor people and rich people is that poor people have jobs, whereas rich people own businesses. More than 80% of rich people become rich by owning their own business. Poor people seek to get a job. Rich people look to give somebody else a job. Think about it. Rich people value their time so much that they hire people to do the things they don't want to do. Like, for an example, I just ordered Instacart, right? I don't have time to go to the store. I don't have time. Do I have somebody that helps me clean? Yes, because I'm on Zoom all day, 24/7. But poor people will gladly get paid to do what those of us who are rich really don't want to do. Think about it. Understand that the word job, J-O-B, is the most perfectly spelled word in the dictionary. J-O-B. It's an acronym that stands for jump out of bed. What? Get on the journey of the broke so that you could remain just over broke. And what that sentence means for those of you that have jobs versus owning your own business. Oh, well, I like the stability. What does stability mean to you? Is it about security, or is it knowing how much money you have every single day? But think about the opposite spectrum. You're never going to change. You're on a carousel going around and around. You're not going anywhere. And I've lived like that too, believe me. I had jobs before. Okay, well, this paycheck is going towards rent, it's going towards health insurance, it's going towards gas, it's going towards car. Okay, so my next paycheck goes towards cable, cell phone, groceries. How many of you guys micromanage your money like that? And think about it. With that security, are you ever going to get off the carousel? You're not. Everything's always going to remain the same. Your money has already been spent, right? Your money's already been spent. So in order to change your life, what must you do? You got to take action. Rich people don't set limits for themselves. Poor people think either or. Rich people think both. That cake looks so good right now. Yes, if that was that cake and cheesecake, I would take both. What this means is that the poor people look at every choice as a process of elimination. For instance, a person might think, I would like to do what I love, but I have to pay my bills. That statement implies that you can't have both. We buy into these truisms that aren't true, like the saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Of course you can have your cake and eat it too. How else would you eat your cake? And if you didn't have it first, the actual quote is, you can't eat your cake and have it too. Ironically, the latter statement is why poor people get poorer and rich people get richer. Rich people don't try to eat their cake and have it too. How many of you guys understand that? There's a saying, the rich gets richer. How many of you guys have ever heard that? I can tell you right now, like when we started investing in masterminds, and I told this story the other day on the podcast, between even ClickFunnels, right? We literally put in the least amount of effort thinking we were going to get the most amount to gain. Let's invest the least amount as possible because we're kind of like 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. How many of you guys have ever been in that scenario? Kind of like gambling, right? In Vegas, you put 1 chip down. Are you going to be able to like buy a new house with 1 chip if you win? No, right? All in. Go big or go home. Choose your advisors wisely. These are your mentors. These are your people, or as we like to call them, your counsel. The difference that I'm about to show you is that one of the most ironic of all differences between rich and poor people, the rich people only take financial advice from people who are also rich or as rich as as they are or richer. Poor people only take advice from people who are poor as they are or poorer. How many of you guys seek counsel from people just like yourselves? Well, I'm going to ask my friend. He's in the same scenario as me, right? I'm going to ask him his advice. That doesn't even make any sense to me. This is one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen since I began studying the subject. It's really sad because most people will go to the grave and never even realize that if what they are currently doing is not giving them the result they desire, then they should start looking to some different sources for advice. How many of you guys need a new network? Think about it, whether it's show business, 401k, investing in real estate, right? Crypto. Why would you take advice from someone just like you? You need to rise up. You need to find people above you and find out what that top 5% are doing, not the 95%. So one of the best definitions of insanity I've ever heard is continuing to do the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. If you continue to do what you've always done, then you will continue to get what you always have gotten. How many of you guys feel like that's you right now? Because I don't even want you to type, I'm stuck, but how many of you guys are ready to alter and take action? Because really it's about change. You want great things? Well, you can't do things you're always doing, right? That's not going to work. So gaining momentum, rich mindset seeks to spend their time, resources, and energy on work that continues to pay off long after the effort's been invested. Rich mindset is all about getting a flywheel spinning, building momentum, creating systems that continue to generate value on their own. Poor mindset is all about short-term returns, hours for dollars. And I've seen this, Deneen, on, I don't even know what fake casting site. $18 to $25 an hour. What are you, a prostitute? Models don't get paid hourly. You guys know that. They get paid per gig, right? Was that too much? Too fast? Okay. But that's the truth. Like models and actors, like that's not how it works. Like, why are you advertising your pay rate? I already know that you're never going to work with real casting directors or agents because you're advertising that you clock in and clock out as a model. That's not how the business works. Meaningful relationships. Rich mindset seeks to build relationships based on trust, liking, shared values, and mutual respect. People with rich mindset help others and cultivate relationships with no expectation of anything in return. Poor mindset thinks, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, right? I remember that photo shoot. That was Miami. The secret of success. The rich attribute success to abilities, hard work, and spirit. The middle class attributes success to education and luck. Oh, you're just lucky, right? The poor attributes success to cheating, connections, and initial capital. Oh, they must have started off rich. How many of you guys have ever heard that? Money is evil, right? Cheated success, right? They must not be real. So I want you guys to look at this crazy chart, right? Look at it. Abilities, cheating, connections, education, hard work, initial capital, luck, spirit. Do you guys see this? It's going to go up and down. There is no clear-cut answer, but I want you guys to see this. Like, you can do it, but it's definitely a formula. Rich mindset knows that the world isn't fair. It's not, and deals with reality swiftly, humbly, and practically. It knows the world owes it nothing. The universe is indifferent to its existence. That the default for life is suffering and death. Well, that's dark. All successes are improbable and should be appreciated as such, right? So whenever anybody emails me, oh, can you guarantee work? What do you think that person has? A rich mindset or a poor mindset? Do you think they work for themselves? Or do you think they clock in, clock out, and they're guaranteed a paycheck? What do you guys think? Because poor mindset is consumed by the unfairness of the world. I've always been scammed. I've been to all these companies. If you're coming to me, right, and you see what we've done, we've opened the stock exchange, 6 Tonys, like we've done tremendous things, Forbes, Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, right? You see all the stuff that we've done. Why would you even, it's almost like going on a first date, and I hate to get off a topic, just doing nothing but bitching about your past relationships. How many of you guys have ever been in that scenario? And if you were sitting there across the way from me, if we were dating or you were my friend, I'd be like, shut the hell up. Why are you here? Oh, well, I want something different. You've already showed me that, like, maybe it's you, right? How many of you guys have ever been around that scenario? They're like energy vampires. Poor mindset is consumed again by the unfairness of the world. The world isn't fair. Good things don't happen to people like me. I grew up in the wrong part of town. My parents don't believe in me. Who the hell cares? Do you believe in you? Right? Think about it. Do you believe in you? Your parents can't convince you to love somebody, what your favorite color should be, your favorite food, right? Your favorite TV show. It wastes time complaining about these things. And honestly, I get people all the time that send me these emails as though the world owes you something, right? And it waits for it to be handed out. Can you make me rich? No, you can make yourself rich. You could totally do it. Just because my company's doing it doesn't mean that everybody else can do it. You have no idea the amounts of money and time and the tears. And Mike and I, oh my God, we've invested in some of the most horrible like companies in the world, thinking that they were the unicorn, right? To save us. It was through trials and tribulations that we figured out what worked, right? It's a formula. But you'll always see the poor mindset. Is this real? How long is this going to be? Can you guarantee, right? How many of you guys see that poor mindset also leaves clues? And it happens all the time. Celebrate others. Look at that, Deneen, with Brandon. Rich mindset celebrates the success of others and embraces the competition and often befriends it. You have two choices: tear down another person's success or be inspired by the example. We don't go over success stories. So you're like, well, gee, it's great for them, but how's that going to help me? I'm sorry. They are completely different than you. They're completely different. Brandon's in New York. He's walking Fashion Week. Brandon's in LA. He was just on Abbott Elementary. Do you look just like Brandon? Do you have the same exact measurements, the same teeth, the same skin tone? Do you have the same hair? Do you have the same mannerism? Were you playing like semi-pro athletic foot? Like how are you compared to Brandon? Think about it, right? We have people from America's Next Top Model that have been through the company. How does that help you? Do you look exactly like them? Are you literally clear-cut carbon copy of them? Oh, you just want to know it works, right? Poor mindset feels jealousy and bitterness about the successes of others. And it looks at everything as a zero-sum game. How many of you guys have ever posted something really great and like nobody hits like, nobody shares it, right? But you post something like, man, shitty day, right? Hoping my luck will change. Then you have like 1,000. Because think who you're speaking to. Think who you're speaking to. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time with us too. So I totally understand. Misery loves company a lot of times. Rich versus poor man, right? Mentor mindset. Rich mindset understands that it can never know everything and that something can be learned from everyone. Poor mindset deludes itself into believing it knows everything, right? I don't need you. Oh, so you're doing great. Oh, awesome. You've been on covers of magazines, you've won Tonys and Emmys, and oh, that's so awesome, right? And that opposing perspectives are wrong before even hearing them. Oh, I've been to companies like yours, right? I've read books like that. How many of you guys have ever met somebody so stuck in their ways, right? And this is a great example. Give a rich man $1,000 and he returns it with 100,000. Give a broke man 1,000 and he returns it with a new iPhone. How many guys saw there was that story about the homeless man that won $1 million, right? Where is he now? He's homeless again. It happens all of the time, right? Happens all of the time. You see this. Athletes don't know how to handle their money, which is why they hire financial advisors. Look at all the rappers, even MC Hammer. Man, that guy had so much money, so many girlfriends, right? Planes, houses, cars, yet he is dead ass broke. Think about it. You can't do it all. Rich mindset understands that it cannot do everything and that even if it could, it would create greater value by focusing on its core strengths. It knows that the right team is greater than the sum of its parts. Poor mindset deludes itself into thinking that it can do everything if it just works hard enough. My best example for anybody trying to get into show business, I'm going to join every website. What are you doing? Real castings aren't posted. You're a fool. I'm just going to keep going and getting more photos done. Oh, that's cool. Well, if castings aren't posted online, where are you posting these pictures to get these results? If you see the insanity, type I see it. Because what makes the rich richer and the poor poorer? Believe. Rich. Their belief is that they could succeed even when no one else believes in them. Look at that. Well, my friends and family don't believe in me. That's a poor man's mindset, right? You're asking for an opinion from a community that's never achieved greatness. They don't believe they can do it, and they're dependent on others' opinions. How many of you guys have ever been in that situation? Like when we invest in stuff, hey mom, I'm going to invest $125,000 in a new Tony Robbins project. That's crazy. Do you see what that award says? That's a wise investment. You know how I know? Because the people that we're surrounding ourselves helped us get to that investment, right? Plan. Rich people have a plan, and everything they do is part of the plan. Maybe going to bed earlier, eating better foods. How many of you guys have ever eaten a lot of carbs, sugar, coffee, right? It's like my main staple of diet, right? Pasta, coffee. But how many of you guys have ever had brain fog? Brain fog. I have a friend that says, man, eating healthy is just so expensive. I'm sorry, what? Your health is so expensive? It's just it's just keto is only made for the rich. What are you talking about? How many of you guys have ever been in that scenario before? Right? So the poor mindset, they don't know what they want. They don't have a target and they just move aimlessly. They're throwing spaghetti up against the wall, right? Rich people have solutions. When there's a problem, they target the problem and they find a solution for it, right? Kind of like going to the gym. Well, what don't you like? Well, I had a baby and I gained weight, here. And okay, so that's what we're going to target, right? That's what they're going to target. Poor people make excuses and find excuses for all their problems, right? Well, I can't afford to go to the gym. Well, you sure as hell can afford shoes, what you have on your feet. Go out there. It's called the street. Walk it, right? No? Too much? The rich, this is super important, guys. They're all about risk taking. They're not looking for immediate gratification. They're not looking for stability. The rich people invest, they go all in, right? Rich people are not afraid to take risks. They create opportunities. Poor people, they're waiting for a miracle. Well, I'd love to be an actor or model, but the time just isn't right, right? When I get more financially able to, I'll come back, right? The poor people wait for some kind of miracle, like winning the lottery, really, or getting a promotion, but they're just waiting and doing nothing about it, right? The rich, they want more. As the main reason why the rich get richer is because they want more. They know they can do it since they are already rich. Now, how many of you guys know that we launched a new business called Vision Craft, right? Over the years, we've put in a lot of money and time cultivating relationships with publishers, and even if you found us on Google or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, going into the studios, professional photography, like Hollywood Blueprints, getting to know these amazing people over the years. And Denise can attest to this. We've met so many entrepreneurs. They're spending money. They're putting in the work. Oh, what is it that you do? Oh, why did you start that? Right? Huh? People don't buy your product, they buy you. So think about it. As an actor or model, even if you're the most attractive, they're buying you. Do you guys understand that? They're buying you even as an actor. Even as an actor. The casting director may not envision your look precisely, but when you open up your mouth, you are the best candidate for that job. And I think that's important for you guys to know that. Because the poor people will blame everyone. But who? But themselves, right? They blame the government, they blame society, they blame their parents, right? They blame their community, lack of resources. 86% of all millionaires are self-made. That means the money wasn't handed down to them, right? Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. The key word is be resourceful. Be resourceful. 17 ways rich people think differently. And I'm not going to read them all, but rich people believe I can create my life. Rich people play the money game to win. Rich people are to be rich. Rich people think big. Rich people focus on opportunities. Rich people admire other rich people and successful people. Who do you think rich people take advice from? They want from the higher, right? The higher ups. Think about it. Rich people are willing to promote. Rich people are bigger than their problems. Rich people are excellent receivers. But look at the poor. Life happens to me. It's like the Eeyore syndrome. People play the money game to not lose. Poor people want to be rich. Poor people think small. Poor people focus on obstacles. I can't do it. You're right, you can't. Absolutely, you can't. Because it starts with you. If you went into the Super Bowl thinking, I can't win, do you think those words ever come out of Tom Brady's mouth or Patrick Mahomes? Or do you think Patrick's already like, well, shit, I got a party after this tonight, right? Because we are going to win the Super Bowl. And then I'm taking the kids to Disney, right? You know this is happening. And I want you guys to read this out loud, right? Poor people resent the rich and successful people. How many of you guys have friends that constantly talk bad about someone who's successful? Like or hate the Kardashians, I'm going to tell you, Kris Jenner, I was watching her master class. She is brilliant. Now, whether or not Kim started with the porn tape, she still knows how to monopolize. Think about it. It is literally a freight train. Think about how much those people do, right? Do you think that they're lazy? Do you think they're just holding their hand out? Or do you think they're hustling, investing, right? Think about it. Poor people associate with negative or unsuccessful people. How many of you guys want change? Because that's honestly what this is about. Poor people mismanage their money well. Think about it. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get the same results. So I don't care if you don't have a lot of money. I want to know, like, do you want change? Okay, great. What can we do? What can we do to push that boat forward? What can we do? Because fear should never stop you from living out your dreams. I fear for people who don't even take chances, right? So let's keep going. What kind of mindset do you have? What kind of mindset do you have after reading this? Do you have a poor mindset or a rich mindset? How many of you guys maybe started with a poor mindset, but you're like, oh shit, I'm at the right place at the right time in my life. I want change. And it may not be overnight, but I'm going to push the dial forward. I'm going into the rich mindset and I'm going to cut my losses with like the fad. And, I want to be an Olympic swimmer, but I don't want the weight on my back anymore. I don't want to seek counsel or opinions from people with poor mindsets. I want to do better. I want to do better. Maybe not just for yourself, but for your family. Maybe you want to be an inspiration, right? Mike had a chance to speak from stage recently. He's speaking from stage in La Jolla with Brian Tracy. Oh my God, never in a million years. Like when we talk about like, Denise, we do this every year, like New Year's, like, oh my gosh, how is my life going to change, right? New Year's Eve, we all make these resolutions. What are we doing New Year's Day? We're hungover, we're in debt, we're sleeping in. Literally, January 1st was the day to change everything. Or was it? Why not start today, April 14th? Oh shit, she's right. Why do we have to wait for New Year's to change our life? That doesn't even make any sense to me. A millionaire mindset for models and actors, no matter age, experience, or who you are currently, the secret to unlocking unlimited potential. That's it. That was my spin.
It was a great spin.
But it's the truth. If you're seeking counsel from negative Nillies, Debbie Downers, you can't do it. Why are you even trying? Avinash was in a major commercial that Avinash, man, If we told him, hey, we're in New York, we invited him to come to our movie premiere recently. He came out, right? There's so many, Solange, like there's so many people, like when we meet people on Zoom, we could just tell. How many of you guys can tell just from looking at somebody, they're like, man, they exude greatness. They exude greatness. Even if we don't take Solange off of mute, Stacey Roundtree, who we love, Bonnie Bagby, hi, Carol Miller, right? There's so many people that we talk to and we see their faces and they light up a room. They light up a room. So if we could surround you with greatness, how many of you guys are all in? Surround me with greatness. I need a chance to shine, man. What I'm doing isn't working. I'm tired of seeking counsel from friends and family with poor mindsets, right? Every single time I want to do great things, they convince me, they literally convince me that I shouldn't even try. So they want you to just sit there and watch other people succeed? That doesn't even make sense to me. And we all have people in our life like that. Like, again, my family, it's a double-edged sword. I try very hard, like I didn't even tell anybody in my family about that award. No one. I told no one. When I got featured in Forbes, didn't say anything. We did post it. I didn't call my mom right away. There's some things that you just keep private. If they see it, great. And that's the truth. And it's a hard lesson to learn. There are certain things that I'll tell certain friends of mine. What's kind of crazy is I had Caden at the age of 43. Some of you guys may not know that, but literally I had no friends like that had kids. All I knew was business. Like all my girlfriends that got married right out of college and had kids. I was like, I have nothing in common with them. And my whole entire life was just surrounded by people like me. Deneen had to convince me I was pregnant. That's the truth. And I was very mad at her. I cursed her out. I screamed at her. We were in Nashville. I remember this
in line at a Starbucks.
And I was like, I don't want coffee. And she's like, oh. I was like, the smell of coffee is making me sick. And she's like, oh. I was like, what? What? And she told me I was pregnant and I screamed at her.
Hold on. I said, I didn't say you're pregnant. I was like, are you pregnant? She's like, there's no way. No. I was like,
you need a friend like Deneen to tell you you're pregnant.
Okay.
But now she's Aunt Deneen, And the craziest thing in the world is, now that I have Caden, all my friends have kids that are like going to prom. And I'm like, oh, we're just looking into preschools, But I'm gonna tell you this, like I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's the truth. Had I had a baby right when I was like 25, I wouldn't have, we couldn't travel around the world like we do, and I work from home now and I get to do all these amazing things. Like I wouldn't be the mom I am today. And I really want you guys to understand that, like, it happened. Yeah, it definitely happened. But I'll tell you what, like, everything we do now as a business, I think to myself, whoa, I'm so glad that my son gets to be a part of this. Does that make sense? And sometimes he does come to photo shoots only for like an hour. He comes in when he's good. And as soon as we start seeing that little glimmer in his eye of like craziness, we're like, okay, let's go. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Right. And I think that's important. So never let family hold you back, kids. Let that also be the wind beneath your wings going, well, shit. When I was his age, I had dreams about doing big things. Well, why didn't you? Because of fear. You were conditioned, right? Maybe it's your echo chamber. It's like watching the news. Maybe you've heard so many times that you shouldn't try. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try? Like Michael always likes to say, it takes 20 years to become a success. Like we did it in 18. We're 2 years ahead of ourselves. And the things we're doing now, oh my gosh, like we have chances right now to go to Dubai and Germany, and we just signed a big deal for Visioncraft, and like we're doing all these amazing things now. We're traveling nonstop. But guys, it wasn't overnight. This was like planting seeds for like the last 18 years, and it's not immediate gratification by any means. Right? So don't look for instant. Put in the work and success will blossom. plant those seeds today for a greater tomorrow. And that's it for inspiration. Who am I right now?
I feel like we've changed
I know.
roles.
This kid, man, makes me soft.
You know what? He doesn't make you soft. What he's done is he's elevated you to the position where you always were. You just didn't know it. That's all he's done.
Yeah, I think I suppressed a lot of that. Damned if
Well,
I'm yeah.
being in this industry, that's the thing. Like, I think being in this industry, like, sometimes you do, because it's like, okay, what do people expect me to be? And we all try to be that, right?
Yeah.
But then there comes this moment where you become your authentic self, and everything just happens. And all of a sudden you're walking down the street and you're like, oh, this is who I've always been on the inside. And like, that's what the industry is looking for. And it's, I think it's the best time in the world to be a part of this.
Yeah, for sure. How many of you guys would love to be able to watch a TV show, pause it, and be like, oh my God, there I am. How excited would your family be for that? Right? Or maybe like we were walking through Times Square one day. Oh my God, how cool is that? Right?
Traveling the world. The thing I love
Avinash.
about us, like, our job is not traveling the world's really cool, but like our talent follow us all over the world. Like being in, like, when we were in Phoenix last year for the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and we were innocently watching the Super Bowl, and then we see one of the people we work with, Jordan Rodriguez, and we're like,
Yeah. Pepsi,
freaking
Taco
out.
Bell. Yeah. I had to tell him he was on TV. Remember? I'm like, dude.
Yeah, you had to tell. You sent a picture for his mom.
Yeah. But
You
he's
know,
one of
you've
the
reached a
faces of
certain level of
DoorDash,
success
Tom
when you're not
Ford,
looking
signed
for
to
yourself.
Wilhelmina. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. All right. So how many of you are growing today? Like, how many of you feel the transformation? Like, if you do, type a 1 or 1 in the comments. If you feel that transformation, type a 1 or 1 in the comments. Now, how many of you know that, like, being here on Zoom is really cool? Like, you've learned a lot. It's been amazing. But how many of you don't want this to be like those knitting needles that we're going to get dusty? You want to take action. If you want to take action, type action in the comments. If you want it to be an action taker, type action in the comments. Because that's what we're going to give you the opportunity to do. We're going to give you the opportunity to take action. We're going to give you the opportunity to not just do this on Zoom, which is really cool. We're going to get you all prepared on Zoom. You're going to have the opportunity to be on live calls on Zoom, different things like that. But if you want more, type more in the comments. If you want more, type more in the comments. And you know what? Say it out loud too. Say, I want more. I don't care if your boyfriend's sitting next to your girlfriend. So say, I want more. Because you know what? Millionaire mindset is believing that you can have more. Millionaire mindset is people with a millionaire mindset take action. People with a millionaire mindset invest in themselves. It's like, are you going to buy a book and read the book and implement the book? Or are you going to sit and binge watch Netflix for hours? And trust me, I fall into both. But if you're an action taker, if you're someone who wants more, if you're someone who knows, you know what, this is cool, but I'm ready to do something more, then we have something that we put together for you. And do we have your permission to share it with you? Yes. Okay. So Alicia, do you want to go over, or do you want me to go over? Because either way, we could do this.
Why don't, is it a PowerPoint or is it just?
No, it's not a PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over something that we've put together for you.
Okay.
And you're going to have to take notes. We didn't prepare a fancy PowerPoint. We didn't want you getting all distracted by that. But what I want you to do.
I think I don't want you making excuses, Deneen White.
I'm not making excuses.
I think with what we're working on right now with Colby, and yesterday when we were talking with Cynthia, and I think this was something that Mike had said, well, let's nail on the head. Let's have calculated risks, right? How many of you guys want a calculated risk that you knew if you given a chance, and I don't want to say it's foolproof, but if you follow the formula, right? Chances of you achieving great success, knowing that you're surrounded by people of this type of caliber, is going to greatly, right? Think about it, increase. You want a formula that works. And that's why this isn't like a normal PowerPoint for those of you guys that have ever been on our calls, and we have the imagery and, and it's super
but
cool.
wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. None of that. This is slam dunk. Like, doctor, I have a cold. What are your symptoms? Oh, here you go. Right? Nail on the head. This is what is going to, we just talked about targeting areas,
Yep.
right? That's what we want. How many of you guys are ready? The target area is success, but not just success on Facebook or Instagram, but give you the tools to be able to build your own dynasty, because that's what you're doing. Okay, Deneen White.
Okay. So the first thing that you're going to have the opportunity, okay, so I'll tell you the name of it first. It's called the Las Vegas Step 1 Experience. Okay. So obviously it's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the theme of this whole weekend was taking action and being all in. Okay. So how many of you are ready to go all in on yourselves in Las Vegas? I know I am.
We talked about the
so
poker chip, not just one little coin, like all in.
all
I want
in.
everybody to go like this, all in.
All in.
All
Actually,
in.
physically,
You have a
physically
winning
push in
hand.
the chips. Let us see you. Push in your chips. You're all in.
Welcome to dance.
You're all
class.
in. Okay. So what we're going to be doing in Las Vegas is we're going to do a 4-look photo shoot with you. So when we do our photo shoots, and Ryan talked about this yesterday, the photo shoots that we do, they are going to be targeted for your area of modeling or acting. So if you're a commercial print model, it's going to be a commercial print shoot. If you're high fashion, it'll be high fashion. If you're fitness, it'll be fitness. This photo shoot is going to give you the tools and resources that you need so that when we present you to an agency, you have the materials that you need. When we present you to a client, you have the photos that you need.
So
Okay.
wait, the former art director of Vogue, Ryan Colby, is going to cultivate your look. How many of you guys know how important that is? There's 17 different types of modeling. The reason why most people get taken advantage of when trying to get into show business, they buy photos that they want to see just to impress friends and family. That's not what a casting director or an agent wants to see. How many of you guys know the term marketability, right? These photos, nail on the head. We talked about that based on what your target market is and giving you the appropriate photos for optimal success.
Yep.
I mean, that's a formula, Deneen.
Yes, it is. And it's a formula that works. We've seen Avinash, Masharad, Brandon, all of them went through this formula. Okay. So you're going to get a 4-look photo shoot. You're also going to work with a celebrity hairstylist and makeup artist. So we're going to bring in someone who's going to do your hair and makeup for you. That's going to help elevate your brand. What does that mean? That means that you're going to get, you're not going to get glamour looks. You're going to get looks that accentuate who you are. So that when a client sees you, they see an elevated blank slate. So they know, okay, you know what? This is someone I want to work with. Okay. In addition to that, you're going to have Ryan Colby himself, the former art director of Vogue, preparing you for the shoot. He's going to walk you through how to prepare. We're going to talk about drinking water. We're going to talk about what to eat.
This is the Super Bowl, guys.
Yeah.
This is the Super Bowl. Yeah. He's very intense when he's preparing you.
Yes. And he's like, he seems like he's laser focused on these calls, but when he is preparing you, when he's on a shoot, he's like hyper focused. Like he has blinders on. All he can see is your success. Okay. So he's going to be preparing you. Huge opportunity right here. This is something I'm really excited about.
Joy.
So in Las Vegas, you are going to have the first opportunity to audition for the commercial print division of Ryan Colby Management. So what does that mean? That means that as soon as you land in Las Vegas, you're on stage. Auditioning for Ryan Colby means you show up on time, you're fully prepared, you listen to his instructions, that you're helpful on set, that when he calls you, you're there. You are the model while you're on set. That is your audition.
How many of you guys feel like you could do that? If you can, like, that's me. Like from the second you get out of your car, your Uber, your Lyft, I don't care if you rode a bike there, hot air balloon, you are on stage and he's watching. Yeah. Because how you sit in the waiting room, how you're working with a makeup artist, right?
Yeah.
He's watching.
He like literally is watching. And I'm going to tell you guys a story too. So there are 2 models that recently Ryan actually took on to the commercial print division of Colby Model Management. And now he's getting them signed to another agency in the Pacific Northwest because he's seen how they were on set. He's been watching their growth. He's been watching their photos grow. So when we tell you that you're auditioning for him, you've already been auditioning for him, but this is like him seeing you live in person.
Do you guys
Okay.
even understand how exciting that is? How many of you guys are excited? Scale 1 to 10. How amazing is that?
Yeah. And literally Ryan's been dragging his feet about doing a commercial print division for a long time, but now he's like, okay, you know what? It's time, because other agencies have also been asking him, like, why don't you do this? So you guys are going to have the first chance to be a part of that division. Okay. In addition to that, we're going to have an agency introduction in Las Vegas. I already told you guys we work with one of the biggest promotional modeling agencies in the country. Literally, their models are at CIS. They're at like any major boat show, any major car show, any major medical show. Like if there is a trade show, this agency submits their models. They
So
are
that's
the elite.
also local. So even if you go to Vegas, I want you guys to think about this. You go to Vegas to meet this person. How many of you guys live in an area where you've seen a bridal show, a hair show, a car show, right? Promo models. He also books internationally.
Yep. And he's the one that all these major shows call because he has such a great name in the industry that he's like the Ford of this. Okay. So he's one of the
Ferrari.
agents. Ferrari. He's the
And
Ferrari.
Raquel already told you yesterday to start working on your passport. How many of you guys see the seeds that we planted yesterday? Right?
Lasagna.
Lasagna effect. No carb
Yeah.
left behind tour. Yeah.
So you're going to have the opportunity to do that. In addition to that, to get you ready to audition for Ryan. So remember yesterday, Ryan talked about how when he signs a model, he wants someone who loves the industry. They have a background and they know who the models are. They know all of these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you a part of our Acting 101, which is part of our school. I'll go over that with you. I'll literally show that to you in a little while. But you're going to go through Acting 101 and Modeling 101. Okay. The importance of doing this is we want you to imagine I call you. I'm like, okay, I need you on set tomorrow. I need you at 6 a.m. and I need you to prepare a monologue. I need you to send me over digitals. I need you to do whatever I ask you. And right now for some of you, you're like, what are digitals? Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm starting to sweat to need how am I going to do this? We have you covered. We're going to give you all the tools that you need so that because you already know that you can be successful. We already got the mindset part down. Now we're going to give you those tools, that 20%, we're going to give you those tools so that if you get a contract, you're not like rights of usage. What the fluff is that? We're going to literally lay all of that out for you. Okay, we're going to help you. We're going to make sure that when you walk into a room, you have all the tools you need. You know exactly how to perform. You know how to write a model. You know how to do your digitals. You know how to do your self-tape. So it's not going to be like, it's going to be, oh, yeah, okay, I've been practicing this for a while. Okay, so you're going to have Acting 101, Modeling 101. As an additional bonus, we've talked about this throughout the day too. Okay, we're going to do a virtual weekend for everyone that's a part of this. It's called How to Earn 5 Figures a Month as a Model or an Actor. Again, it's going to be done virtually, but how many of you would love to know how to earn an extra 5 figures a month as a model or an actor? And we're not asking you again, I'm not asking you to quit your full-time job. What we're saying is how many of you want to add to your income doing this part-time? That means that maybe you're not ready to move to LA, to Atlanta, to Hollywood, or to New York. You're not ready for that, but you love this and you're like, yeah, let me do it. And I'm looking at you, Stacey Roundtree, because I know that you're chomping at the bit for this one, my friend.
Stacey.
But she's like, Denise, we were just talking about this in San Diego. Come on now. But I want you we're going to do a whole virtual weekend on how to do that. We're going to give you the basics we're going to show you how to start landing those opportunities. Okay, because we want you to be successful, right? So this is what you're going to do. Again, you're going to come to Las Vegas. You're going to get a 4-look photo shoot. The photos are going to be handcrafted for you, for your look, for what you are designed to do in the industry. You're going to work with a celebrity hairstylist and makeup artist. You're literally going to be able to take a picture with the photographer, take a picture with the hairstylist, the makeup artist, post that on your Instagram, you're going to get instant credibility because these are people that work with the people in the highest level of the industry. We've had people that have worked on Beyonce. I mean, Alicia can go through all of their resumes. They said, I'm like, oh, that's
We
so
have people that
cool.
do the Victoria's Secret Fashion Week.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay Vladimir, who's doing the photo shoot in Tampa, has worked with Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, some of
Yeah.
the biggest names ever. How
Yeah.
many of you guys would love to take a selfie with a photographer, not just to brag, but then become friendly with that photographer? Maybe that photographer may recommend you for a shoot, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's working with somebody or they're working with somebody.
Yeah.
But then you also look at all the magazines and celebrities they worked with, and now that photographer is following you back, sharing your image. If you understand the keyword proximity, right? Type proximity here. Having proximity. Now, our makeup artists in the past, Denise, we've had, remember, commercial print, like in LA, we've had makeup artists that have worked with like Grey's Anatomy. We've had like top makeup artists. This isn't like where you're doing high fashion editorial Vogue, right? You need makeup artists that know how to, contouring it. I mean, literally like figuring out, nail in the head what you qualify for. And again, that's Ryan Colby telling them exactly what to do with your hair, your makeup. But you need somebody like that to orchestrate this. So makeup, hair. How many of you guys see how we're different from any other company out there? Because these photographers, these makeup artists, these hairstylists, even getting a chance to work with the former art director of Vogue, do you think that that would help you a little bit or a lot on your resume? Right? You see how it's different.
Yeah. Everything we're doing is elevating your success. Having the photos done, all these things are going to be elevating your success. Who's ready to come to Las Vegas and elevate your success? If you are, let me just go over the investment and then we're going to drop the link for you. Okay. So again, 4-look photo shoot. You're going to have work with a celebrity hairstylist, makeup artist, photographer. You're going to have the prep with the former art director of Vogue, Ryan Colby.
What is that worth to you? Somebody type, what is it worth to you to work with a former art director of Vogue magazine? Was that priceless?
It's priceless, right? It's absolutely priceless.
Like if we were to sell that, Deneen, just by itself, I already know the value. 10 grand, 20 grand. Think about how much money people spend on handbags, right? Anybody? Think about how much money we spend on iPhones that do nothing for us. Think about it.
Yeah. So again, you're going to have the opportunity to be one of the first people to audition as soon as you set foot in Las Vegas. Actually, before, when you're on the calls with Ryan Colby preparing you, you're auditioning. You're going to be one of the first people to audition for the commercial print division of Colby Model Management. You're going to get that agency introduction with not only the promotional modeling agency, but other agencies. Who knows? Sometimes we fly agencies clear across the country for these opportunities. You're going to have the opportunity to get introduced to an agent. We're going to introduce you to them. You're going to get the acting 101, the modeling 101. You're going to get that bonus weekend where we're going to lay out how to earn 5 figures a month as an actor or model. Okay. So total value, if you add all those things up individually, is $10,782. Obviously, we're not going to ask you for, that's not what the investment is going to be.
How many of you guys right now would pay $10,000 for all of that? If all this did was put you face to face with an agent, Ryan already said that people from Kohl's, they only hire through agencies. They pay anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a day, but they want to see your book. They want to know that you have proper photos. How many of you guys right now, and this isn't to take away from what we built, see the investment, you're like, it is well worth 10 grand. If all this did was get me clear cut with the former art director of Vogue, I get a chance to possibly be considered for jobs that pay $2,000 to $5,000 a day. Holy shit. Like 2 jobs would literally pay myself back, not to mention the photos and the training and everything else I'm getting. How many of you guys see the value? If you see the value, type value. Because I'll tell you what, Deneen, like we have people that have wasted so much time with these like fake runway classes, 3 grand to learn how to walk like a model. Who's teaching you? The losers that have never walked like, these are the graduates teaching you. People spend years trying to get the right photos. They're joining all the fake websites. They're never getting real castings. They've given up on their dreams. Oh my God, they've given up on their dreams. But yet our talent, the ones that are with Colby or the ones working on this type of level, when they have the proper photos, the proper training, and they're an asset, not a liability, an asset, Because I'll tell you what, we've already gone over time kills all deals. Like even to get the acting 101 and the modeling 101, hey, Stacey Roundtree, I need some digitals. I know Stacey knows what that means. Not what's that, right? And it takes you like days because people that pay attention. Do you guys understand that? People who pay attention. You're going to show up. You're not going to argue with Ryan. Oh, this is the look for me. Well, I see myself having more of a high fashion, you know. I want you guys to understand, if all this did was save you money, save you time, clear cut face to face with the people you need to meet. How many of you guys, we said this, it's Vegas. How many of you guys are all in? Even if it were 10 grand, how many of you guys are all in? Tired of wasting time, tired of wasting money. I want results. I need to go where the winners are. Look at that. I want to surround myself with winners. I know I can't do this by myself. I don't even know what I qualify for. Even if I go out and get photos, where can I post them? Real castings aren't posted. Most likely, we've already gone over 99% of everybody who does their photos do it completely incorrect because you base it on your preferences. You're seeking counsel from your friends and family as to what you should be doing in this business, right? We see